presented by Everett Chevrolet.
Good evening and welcome to the Wildcat Sports Network. I'm Jackson Braswell, the voice of the Wildcats. Tonight is possibly one of the biggest games of the season as our Wildcats take on the Fayetteville Bulldogs. Could we see the Wildcats finally get their vengeance? We'll find out shortly. Tonight is Friday, October 21st, 2016, and the Wildcat Sports Network starts right now.
He's got it completed. Got a ton of pressure. First down. Oh, he throws it over shoulders. First down. And he's caught for a touchdown.
Here with us to kick things off is Coach Wood. Now, Coach, Bentonville West, obviously a young team, but what were some of your takeaways from that ball game?
Well, one, I thought Coach Pratt and staff are doing a fantastic job. A lot of good young talent. They play hard. The scheme's good. I mean, you can see it's just a matter of time before they're going to be very dangerous in the 7A West. And they've already positioned themselves this year in their first year to be in the playoffs, which is a huge step in the right direction from a first-year program. But from our standpoint, I liked, again, how our defense flew around, created 5 turnovers, had 2 of them returned for touchdowns, a lot of big hits defensively, and then offensively, we were able to do some things in our passing game, continue to try to run the ball. Probably not as clean as I'd have liked, but we got the job done.
Now, you were able to get a big lead early on in the football game, and that allowed you to bring some guys in the second half that don't normally get a lot of playing time. Noticeably, Trayshawn Pascal, who we talked about before the show, but he had a great second half and was a guy that really emerged on the offensive end of the ball.
Yeah, I mean, anytime we get in that situation, we can get a lot of guys in the game. That's always exciting because they all earn the opportunity to get out there, and just sometimes games don't dictate or allow you to do that. But we did, and Trayshawn's, he's one of those kids that moved in, and this is his second year with us. He's a quarterback too. I mean, he's got a great arm, but he's long. He catches the ball good with his hands. I thought he did some really nice things. Matt Thomas, he came on and played well for us, and a guy that started earlier, and then with some guys coming back from some injuries, he kind of dropped down on the depth chart just a little bit, but he made his presence felt, which I think is huge for us. And then, getting that second group of offensive linemen ready, because you never know. This year's been a unique year. We've had a lot of guys banged up, and we've always had that next man principle, and they've been able to step in and make plays when we need them. So just real proud of the whole group.
Now, your defense pitched another shutout, and it seems like we talk about the defense every single week, but how confident are you in those guys at this point in the season, especially going into tonight's game against Fayetteville, that when they step out on the field, they're going to give your team a chance to win?
Well, I mean, I feel real good with my defensive staff led by Keith Femple. I mean, they do a great job each and every week getting our guys in a situation to play football and play it fast. And then on the back end of that, our guys love playing together. Those 11 guys that go out there, and really there's about 16 or 17 that play, that rotate through. They just gave us great effort in creating a lot of turnovers. One of their goals this year is to set the school record on turnovers. And so they're trying to get close to that number, and that means a lot to them. And it's just fun to watch them play.
Well, thanks, Coach. We'll bring you back later in the show to close it out, but right now, let's take a look at last Friday night's game.
There's a first time for everything. Making history tonight, the Wildcats will face off against the Wolverines as it is their first football season ever before. With that being said, the Wildcats are favored to win. Bentonville West currently sitting at 2-3 and Har-Ber undefeated in this season's conference. Opposing competition consists of primarily sophomores and juniors who will compete against the state runner-up conference champs. Assumptions aside, every game counts, including this one, just moments away from kickoff.
I think we've done awesome. Our offense is really functioning now. Cover's getting a lot of good runs. We're looking for trade down the line. Our defense has been really killer. It's been what's been holding us together.
It takes a village to accomplish the mass amounts of success that not only the Har-Ber athletes have encountered, but the student body as well, exuding excellence and instilling gratification.
I'm very proud of the coaches and our football athletes and the efforts that they've put in. I know how hard they've worked really since last year. Very proud of what they're doing, as I am of all of our other student athletes. And our students have done a great job this year, student section, our band, all of them. So I'm a very proud principal.
No doubt every team in the 7A West has the potential to outplay their opponent. But at the end of the day, there's only one winner, and tonight Har-Ber takes home the victory. Now having defeated 2 Bentonville teams, the Wildcats move forward, more determined than ever before and ready for whatever lies ahead. For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Thanks, Ashlyn. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, Alejandro Ramirez will be in the studio. Don't go anywhere. WCSN will be right back.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale. I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
Absolute Heat and Air still does business the old-fashioned way. We start by answering your call 24/7, 365 by one of our real caring employees. Our technicians are fully licensed and insured, background checked, and drug tested, so you can absolutely trust Absolute Heat and Air. With over 75 years of combined experience, our team of professionals delivers the services you need all over Northwest Arkansas with a commitment to excellence. In the end, your satisfaction is guaranteed. That's the way we do business. Contact Absolute Heat and Air today. You'll be glad you did.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be. For you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
So, St. Matthews, his lightning fast speed.
No. He's got explosive speed.
Dude, he's lightning fast.
Same. Would you describe your speed as explosive or lightning fast? What? Dude, I'm telling you, he's explosive.
Lightning fast.
What's that? Lightning fast.
Lightning fast.
Yeah.
Welcome back. Here with us now is Alejandro Ramirez. Now, Alejandro, there's no doubt you've been pretty dominant this year. How have offenses kind of had to game plan for you?
I get some double teams, scheme sometimes away from me.
So, I mean, you're playing defensive tackle. It always seems like you're around the football. That's not common for a defensive tackle. How do you pride yourself on hustle and just, being that type of guy on the team?
I like to make plays, no matter where it is on the field. So, got to run around, chase the ball.
So you're a junior. This is a big year for you as far as getting recognized by colleges. You've gotten some mail from schools. But what is your goal after high school?
I do plan on playing college football, wherever that may be. I got to find the right program right for me.
So Fayetteville, a huge game tonight. The Purple Dogs are out on the field warming up. You've had a chance to watch film all week. What are you expecting from this team?
They've got a really good quarterback. They're probably going to try and throw the ball a lot, try and get some running game in. I don't know. We got a pretty good defense, run game-wise, so.
Should be a pretty exciting matchup. Well, Alejandro, we appreciate you joining us. Let's take a quick commercial break. When we come back, the producer for WCSN himself will be with us. Don't go anywhere. The Wildcat Sports Network will be right back.
Chevrolet has the longest lasting, most dependable full-size trucks on the road. And at Everett Chevrolet, we think the slogan, "Find New Roads," couldn't be more at home than in beautiful Northwest Arkansas. The 2015 Silverado has the most fuel-efficient gas V8 ever, perfect for those long drives in the country. And for those new roads that are hard to find, Silverado's rugged power will pull you through. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale.
Hometown. That word still means something here. It means we're neighbors. We do the right thing. We care about your family. And you deserve the very best every time you walk in the front door. Har-Ber's. Hometown fresh.
Welcome home to Lindsay Living. From value-packed basic apartments with appliances and washers and dryers to resort-style apartment living on golf courses with fabulous amenities, you'll love where you live and play. Visit lindsaymanagement.com to apply online and see photos, rates, and floor plans for all locations we manage throughout Arkansas and in surrounding states.
Here at Har-Ber, athletes make things run much smoother. Need a runner. 2 seconds slower than the last time, Chris. Come on.
Welcome back. Here with us now is the man behind the scenes, our godfather of WCSN per se, Travis Sherman. Now, Travis, you graduated from film school. You worked in the industry for a long time, and to my understanding, still do while you teach here at Har-Ber High School. Why did you decide to become a teacher instead of continuing in the industry?
Well, I think it came down to wanting to give back. You know, it's kind of a silly answer. People say, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and I think that's what video productions is the ability to give back, and we have that capability to do so. You know, when I was in high school, I played basketball, I played baseball, I was the athlete, and then it just kind of dawned on me that I don't like doing that anymore, and what was a potential career that I could have, because there wasn't, back when I was in high school, there wasn't that opportunity, that niche for some people. You were either in the band or you were an athlete, and that was it. And so I wanted to kind of cater to those students that didn't fit as an athlete, didn't fit as a band member. There's still a lot of those students, so I wanted to give them a creative outlook on life. So you've been doing this for a while, about 5 years. Talk to us about, you know, the history of WCSN and what it might look like in 5 more years. Oh man, when we first started, it was one camera. We didn't have any of the equipment we had now. We had one camera operator. I think I was still doing the show myself. And there wasn't a whole lot to it. I think we weren't even running on the same switchers or anything like that, so it was just a real, I won't say cheap, but low-end production is probably what you would deem it. And we've grown quite a bit from a crew of 1. We now have a crew of about 12 every day. So we've got multiple cameras. We've got wireless camera, which I'm real fond of. We do the graphics now, and I'm just trying to improve it every time. In the future, possibly next year, we're looking at picking up another wireless camera. We've looked into those sky cams that fly over the stadium. That would be really cool. We don't know if that would happen. Camera jibs, you name it, we've probably looked into it, and I hope eventually we can grow into that ESPN style production. Now talk to us a little bit about the preparations for this week. What are the students doing to get ready for the game tonight? That's the thing, you know, everybody gives credit to, you know, like the band. They do a great job. The band's phenomenal. The athletes do a great job. But people in the broadcast, I don't feel like they're getting the credit that they deserve. You've got people working behind the scenes constantly, and that's kind of why we've done this show today, and why I'm on the show, is to give them the credit that they deserve. Because when you look at it, we spend about 25 hours a week producing this show. You know, with the game, the preparations, the graphics, shooting this show. There's a lot of work into it. You know, Ashley Grace Brothers is doing the news stories. Brittany Lawson is editing these stories. We've got a couple camera operators doing the show right now. We prepare the graphics. We create the news packages. So there's a whole lot of preparation that goes into it, and I'm just so proud of the team that I work with. Now, you've selected these students, and they're part of your film and your broadcast class. How are these classes that you're teaching them, preparing them for life after high school? Well, that's a great point, because this class definitely gives them the hands-on skills that they need. You know, you've got, for example, Ashley Grace Brothers is interning at KNWA right now. Brittany Lawson wants to go to a film school, Tara Piazza, Annie McGowan. I mean, we've got all these students are wanting to pursue some type of career after high school in this industry. It may not be broadcast, but it could be film. It could be something closely related. So these are training the students about time management and deadlines and how to compose subjects and how to be creative. And I think what they're doing is top notch. Well, Travis, thanks for joining us. I'll see you in the booth in just about 20 minutes. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, TJ Eckwood will be joining us. Don't go anywhere, WCSN. We'll be right back.
Growing up, we are all born into different homes. We are exposed to multiple situations and different settings. But everyone has their own unique passion, and it's places like this here at the Jones Center providing us with Spring Creek Festival that we can come together and really shadow out adversity and magnitude, the power of media.
Spring Creek is an opportunity for students to come together. It was primarily started for a competition, but I think it's grown to something much more different and recognizable. Students can now network with people across the region. They get to network with colleges, they get to see vendors, they get to interact with professionals. So it's become something that's bringing the community closer, and the fact that it's providing an opportunity for students for life after high school.
What started off primarily as a skill-based festival now translates to something with a much deeper meaning. A creative outlet for students to feel as if they fit in enhance their skills, and appreciate their passion to an even greater extent than ever before.
Spring Creek is a really great way to bring all of the different types of people together to one common interest, and so they can share and relish in that. You know, there are a lot of kids here who, back at their high school or their middle school or in their college, they don't fit into the band or sports or choir, other stuff like that. TV broadcast is a really great way to give them a place to fit in. It gives them a niche. And so Spring Creek is just, it's a wonderful way for people to come together and create media magic.
Multimedia is an opportunity to develop student skills useful in any given industry. What they're doing here at Spring Creek is setting a precedent and impacting the lives one student at a time, bringing them closer together and creating a newfound community.
So multimedia is in several different aspects, right? So you have broadcast journalism, film, production, photography. And what's really important for students to learn is the skills that they're learning are applicable in multiple fields. You could go into live sports, into live music, into government, into news. You could make films. But what's most important for students to understand is the skills that they're learning shape communities. They change the social narrative. They make sure that people are informed and entertained.
Community allows individuals to be a part of something that's bigger than themselves, because at the end of the day, we're all after a common goal. It's our love for current events and our love for the media that brings a diverse population together. Reporting from Spring Creek, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett. Here at Everett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, family-owned, customer-friendly is more than just a slogan. We're dedicated to giving you the best car buying experience you've ever had. We really do want what's best for our customers, and it shows in everything we do. So come see us for a better way to buy Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the Ram 1500. Family-owned, customer-friendly. Everett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Springdale.
When accidents happen, our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge can mean less waiting and faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale.
This is Jack. And this
I am starving!
is Jack's appetite. It's never satisfied.
I'm hungry, 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 hungry.
Seriously, dude?
What?
Then Jack's mom started serving Tyson Anytizer snacks with all white meat and lots of protein. They're the only snacks that make Jack's appetite disappear. Tyson Anytizer snacks. Consider snacking solved.
We came to Arvest Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to be involved in the community and want to be part of the community.
They support our university, our athletic department.
They've told us that they could have a fleet of volunteers there to help this year if we needed.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Arvest.
Arvest Bank, our customers say it best.
Ever since we incorporated theater into our practices, our hustle plays have increased 60%.
No, guys, I need more emotion. I want to feel it. Show me the emotions. Oh!
Welcome back. Here with us now is TJ Electric Eckwood. Now, TJ, we have to come up with nicknames every single week. This week, you're the guy we picked. What do you think about Electric?
I think it's really good.
It'll do, won't it? So you got your second pick six of the season last year, and it seems like every time you touch the football, we just hold our breath because we feel like you're going to score. How confident are you that when you get the ball in your hands, you're going to take it in the end zone?
I'm pretty confident. I know what to do when I get the ball in my hands.
Yeah, first time I ever saw you in practice was you're running a jet sweep on offense, which we actually hadn't seen this year. And Coach Wood described you as electric. That's why we named you that. How do you have just a little bit of an offensive mentality out there as well?
Yes, I do.
And you run track as well, so that speed goes in there.
Yeah.
What is your best event in track?
400 meters.
So what's your time in there?
48.5.
That's not bad there. So you come from a family of athletes. I mean, it seems like everyone in your family played sports. How proud of you are you to carry on that tradition athletically?
I'm really proud. It's always good to represent your family, represent the Eckwood family.
All right, tonight's game against Fayetteville is a big game. What are you most looking forward to?
Just the big rivalry of it. It should be a really good game. When I was little, I've always watched Fayetteville versus Har-Ber, and it's always been a good game, so it's going to be pretty fun to play in.
You've been able to watch film all week, and Taylor Powell, a top quarterback in the state of Arkansas. What have you seen on film from them?
Just mainly him being, he's a very smart player on the field. He makes really good plays. Barrett Bannister, he's a really good playmaker on their team, so just go out there and just make plays and try to come out with a win.
Well, I appreciate you joining us, TJ, and as always, good luck tonight. We'll take one more quick commercial break, but when we come back, Coach Wood is going to help us close this thing out. Don't go anywhere. WCSN, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale, I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
We came to Arvest Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to be involved in the community and want to be part of the community.
They support our university, our athletic department.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
They're all people in the community that have lived here for a while.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Arvest.
Arvest Bank, our customers say it best.
Absolute Heat and Air still does business the old-fashioned way. We start by answering your call 24/7, 365 by one of our real caring employees. Our technicians are fully licensed and insured, background checked, and drug tested, so you can absolutely trust Absolute Heat and Air. With over 75 years of combined experience, our team of professionals delivers the services you need all over Northwest Arkansas with a commitment to excellence. In the end, your satisfaction is guaranteed. That's the way we do business. Contact Absolute Heat and Air today. You'll be glad you did.
For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
No, you gotta own it. You gotta be like, for WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
No, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Okay, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Better.
Yeah, but don't you think I should add like some...
No! Red, yellow card!
Is she gonna be okay?
Yeah, they always do this.
Okay, so you said, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Yeah, just
No.
One more time.
But don't you think that I should add something like, that's the way the cookie crumbles, or, ooh, okay, good one. I could say something like,
No, just one more time.
Okay, for WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Much better.
Back with us to help close the show out is Coach Wood. Now, Coach, Fayetteville game is always a big one. What can we expect out of the Purple Dogs tonight?
Well, I mean, Coach Blankenship's doing a fantastic job. He's picking up where Coach Patton left off. With Taylor Powell at quarterback, he's back. Just a tremendous kid, great competitor. Offensively with T-Rock running the ball for him. They've got receivers in Bannister. I mean, they're just an explosive offense as always. And then defensively, led by Byers at the D-line that's going to Alabama. I mean, just fast and physical defensively. Typical Fayetteville group, very talented. They get after you. They play physical football. I mean, we're going to have to answer it toe-to-toe.
Now, you were able to beat them in the regular season last year, fell to them in the state championship. How important is it this week to preach that this is just another game on the schedule? This isn't one of those that you have to go out and get revenge. This is just go out, play your style of play, and win the ball game.
Yeah, I mean, 2016, that story was written, that book's on the shelf. I mean, we're really focused on 17, and what matters to us Friday tonight is really winning the game, and we want to continue to hold on to sole possession of first place in the 7A West. Our guys want to go back-to-back conference champions, and they don't want to share that conference title. And so, we're in a good position either way, but we want to be a little bit greedy tonight, and we're just focused on tonight and trying to win the game and take one step closer to being the number one seed.
What do you guys have to do tonight to get that win?
Well, I think we got to minimize the big plays. Don't give them anything over the top. I think third down's huge as always. Kicking game's going to play a factor, and whoever leads the turnover battle, I think, is very evident. And who gets the most turnovers is going to win the game probably. And that's kind of been historically how this series has gone, and I don't expect it to be any different tonight.
Well, Coach, thanks for joining us, and as always, good luck tonight. That's all the time we have for this week. For Superintendent Dr. Jim Rollins and Athletic Director Wayne Stellick, I'm Jackson Braswell. Up next is kickoff. We'll see you next time.
He's got it completed. Got a ton of pressure. First down. Oh, he throws it over his shoulders.
Presented by Everett Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale, I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
Catering for WCSN provided by Domino's.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together. Catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Served with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Absolute Heat and Air still does business the old-fashioned way. We start by answering your call 24/7, 365 by one of our real caring employees. Our technicians are fully licensed and insured, background checked, and drug tested, so you can absolutely trust Absolute Heat and Air. With over 75 years of combined experience, our team of professionals delivers the services you need all over Northwest Arkansas with a commitment to excellence. In the end, your satisfaction is guaranteed. That's the way we do business. Contact Absolute Heat and Air today. You'll be glad you did.
So, Shane Matthews, his lightning vest speed.
No. He's got explosive speed.
Dude, he's lightning fast.
We came to Har-Ber's Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to be involved in the community and want to be part of the community.
They support our university, our athletic department.
They've told us that they could have a fleet of volunteers there to help this year if we needed.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Har-Ber.
Har-Ber Bank. Our customers say it best.
Hometown. That word still means something here. It means we're neighbors. We do the right thing. We care about your family. And you deserve the very best every time you walk in the front door. Harps. Hometown fresh.
When accidents happen, our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge can mean less waiting and faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale.
Here at Har-Ber, athletes make things run much smoother. Need a runner.
Two seconds slower than the last time, Chris. Come on.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be. For you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
Welcome home to Lindsay Living. From value-packed basic apartments with appliances and washers and dryers to resort-style apartment living on golf courses with fabulous amenities. You'll love where you live and play. Visit lindsaymanagement.com to apply online and see photos, rates, and floor plans for all locations we manage throughout Arkansas and in surrounding states.
Our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means you'll find less waiting where it matters most. Faster care in the emergency room. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at Northwest Health System, Bentonville, and Springdale.
Ever since we incorporated theater into our practices, our hustle plays have increased 60%.
No, guys, I need more emotion. I want to feel it. Show me the emotions. Oh!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into Har-Ber Wildcat Stadium, where tonight it's the game we've all been waiting for. Har-Ber against the Fayetteville Purple Dogs. Now, these teams met last year in the state championship. Fayetteville won that game. Har-Ber was able to beat them in the regular season, but tonight, Donald, they're looking for a little revenge.
Yeah, they really are. You know, it's like, listen, these guys, this is the state championship during the regular season is what it is. You know, these guys show up and they're fighting for every inch, and you know this is just the spectacle of the season, so to speak, until they get to Little Rock. So these guys show up, they're ready to play, and then you guys are in for a real treat because these guys are very talented, and you know I think anyone else in the state is going to match up to Har-Ber. It's these guys right here.
Now, Fayetteville's only loss of the season is to Bentonville, and Har-Ber was able to beat Bentonville by a couple of scores just 2 weeks ago. And so if you're a Har-Ber Wildcat fan, you feel confident coming into this game that you've beaten a team that's beaten Fayetteville, but you can't always compare things that way because this game is always full of emotion.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. And then that's when you play at this kind of level, that's all it is emotion. You're playing literally with instinct, and you don't have time to think. The game is fast. It's hard hitting. You're going to get hurt. I mean, it's an emotion like you never experienced, and at this level, like I said, you know, it's the big game of the year.
And it seems like there's always been that rivalry between Springdale, and Fayetteville. Now, not so much between Springdale High and Fayetteville, but now it's to Har-Ber because Har-Ber has been the power of Springdale for the last couple of years. And this one's no different. You know, Fayetteville, an extremely talented team. Their quarterback, Taylor Powell's committed to Wake Forest. They've got a D lineman named Akil Byers who's going to Alabama. And you know if you're committed to Alabama, you're pretty talented.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Listen, if a D1 school is looking at you and they're coming to talk to you, you've got skills. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it.
Now, Donald, you were able to call these games last year, both of them, and you saw Har-Ber take down Fayetteville last year at home. What do you think the Wildcats have to do tonight?
Yeah, I think if they stay in their game, Coach Wood's going to put a game plan together. If they stick to the game plan, they establish the running game, they establish the throwing game. They got to, Fayetteville's got to respect that. They have to respect the running game. They have to respect the pass game. They have a lot of dangerous players out there that can score at any given moment, and with the Chris Wood offense, they're going to put a lot of points up fast. So Fayetteville better have brought their A game to Wildcat Stadium tonight because these guys are, they're wanting to put it away fast and put it away quick.
Well, just about 21 minutes till kickoff here at Har-Ber Wildcat Stadium. It'll be the Cats versus the Dogs. We'll be back right around kickoff. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Har-Ber Wildcat football.
We came to Arvest Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to be involved in the community and want to be part of the community.
They support our university, our athletic department.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
They're all people in the community that have lived here for a while.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Arvest.
Arvest Bank, our customers say it best.
During the Great Depression, nothing came easy. But with just 5 cents, an old truck, and a load of hay, John Tyson and his family found a way to deliver quality chicken to other hardworking people. Today, Tyson continues to find new ways to help put a chicken in every pot. Because people deserve farm-raised chicken of the highest quality. At Tyson, we remain committed to this simple promise: to always keep it real, to always keep it Tyson.
Welcome home to Lindsay Living. Affordable rates, available on-site management, attitudes of service, and amenities unmatched make residents love where they live and play. From value-packed basic apartments to resort-style living on golf courses, we manage options to fit your needs and wants. Apply online at lindsaymanagement.com for locations throughout Arkansas and in surrounding states.
I'm Susie Everett, Here at Everett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, family-owned, customer-friendly is more than just a slogan. We're dedicated to giving you the best car buying experience you've ever had. We really do want what's best for our customers, and it shows in everything we do. So come see us for a better way to buy Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the Ram 1500. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Everett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Springdale.
For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. No, you gotta own it. You gotta be like, for WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. No, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. Okay, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Better.
Okay, yeah, but don't you think I should add like so?
Red, yellow card.
Is she gonna be okay? Yeah, they always do this. Okay, so you said, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. Yeah, just no. One more time. But don't you think that I should add something like, that's the way the cookie crumbles, or, ooh, okay, good one. I could say something like, No, just one more time. Okay. For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. Much better.
Our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means faster care. And because we're full service hospitals, a lot more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. At Northwest Health System, Bentonville and Springdale.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be for you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
This is Jack. And this
I am starving!
is Jack's appetite. It's never satisfied.
I'm hungry.
Seriously, dude?
What?
Then Jack's mom started serving Tyson Anytizer snacks. With all white meat and lots of protein, they're the only snacks that make Jack's appetite disappear. Tyson Anytizer snacks. Consider snacking solved.
Presented by Everett Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale, I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
Catering for WCSN provided by Domino's.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together. Catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Served with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Absolute Heat and Air still does business the old-fashioned way. We start by answering your call 24/7, 365 by one of our real caring employees. Our technicians are fully licensed and insured, background checked, and drug tested, so you can absolutely trust Absolute Heat and Air. With over 75 years of combined experience, our team of professionals delivers the services you need all over Northwest Arkansas with a commitment to excellence. In the end, your satisfaction is guaranteed. That's the way we do business. Contact Absolute Heat and Air today. You'll be glad you did.
So, St. Matthews, his lightning fast speed.
No. He's got explosive speed.
Dude, he's lightning fast.
Sane, would you describe your speed as explosive or lightning fast? What? Dude, I'm telling you, he's explosive.
Lightning fast.
What's that? Lightning fast.
Lightning fast.
Yeah.
We came to Arvest Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to support our university, our athletic department.
They've told us that they could have a fleet of volunteers there to help this year if we needed.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Arvest.
Arvest Bank. Our customers say it best.
hometown. That word still means something here. It means we're neighbors. We do the right thing. We care about your family. And you deserve the very best every time you walk in the front door. Harps. Hometown fresh.
When accidents happen, our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge can mean less waiting and faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale.
Here at Har-Ber, athletes make things run much smoother.
Need a runner. Two seconds slower than the last time, Chris. Come on.
First Security is here. Only here. So that means we're here, here, and here. Even here. And definitely here. Because here is where we want to be. For you. First Security Bank. Only in Arkansas.
Welcome home to Lindsay Living. From value-packed basic apartments with appliances and washers and dryers to resort-style apartment living on golf courses with fabulous amenities. You'll love where you live and play. Visit lindsaymanagement.com to apply online and see photos, rates, and floor plans for all locations we manage throughout Arkansas and in surrounding states.
Our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge means you'll find less waiting where it matters most. Faster care in the emergency room. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at Northwest Health System, Bentonville, and Springdale.
Ever since we incorporated theater into our practices, our hustle plays have increased 60%.
No, guys, I need more emotion. I want to feel it. Show me the emotions. Oh!
We came to Arvest Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to be involved in the community and want to be part of the community.
They support our university, our athletic department.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
They're all people in the community that have lived here for a while.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Arvest.
Arvest Bank, our customers say it best.
During the Great Depression, nothing came easy. But with just 5 cents, an old truck, and a load of hay, John Tyson and his family found a way to deliver quality chicken to other hardworking people. Today, Tyson continues to find new ways to help put a chicken in every pot. Because people deserve farm-raised chicken of the highest quality. At Tyson, we remain committed to this simple promise: to always keep it real, to always keep it Tyson.
Welcome home to Lindsay Living. Affordable rates, available on-site management, attitudes of service, and amenities unmatched make residents love where they live and play. From value-packed basic apartments to resort-style living on golf courses, we manage options to fit your needs and wants. Apply online at lindsaymanagement.com for locations throughout Arkansas and in surrounding states.
I'm Susie Everett. Here at Everett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, family-owned, customer-friendly is more than just a slogan. We're dedicated to giving you the best car buying experience you've ever had. We really do want what's best for our customers, and it shows in everything we do. So come see us for a better way to buy Motor Trend's Truck of the Year, the Ram 1500. Family-owned, customer-friendly, Everett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Springdale.
For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
No, you gotta own it. You gotta be like, for WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
No, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Hey, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers.
Better.
Yeah, but don't you think I should add like
Ref, yellow card.
Is she gonna be okay?
Yeah, they always do this.
Okay, so you said, I'm Ashley and Grace brothers.
Yeah, just
No.
one more time.
But don't you think that I should add something like, that's the way the cookie crumbles, or, ooh, okay, good one. I could say something like,
No, just one more time.
Okay, for WCSN, I'm Ashley and Grace brothers.
Much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Springdale Har-Ber High School alma mater.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into Har-Ber Wildcat Stadium for tonight's matchup between the Fayetteville Purple Dogs and the Har-Ber Wildcats. I'm Jackson Braswell, joined alongside Donald Tucker. And Donald, this is one we've been looking forward to all year.
No, we really have. You know, these guys 6-1 each. They come in here. It's going to be a fist fight. There's just no doubt about it.
Now, Har-Ber came off of a big win last week against Bentonville West, a young squad, but you know they took care of business, won 45-0. Fayetteville also got a big win against Rogers Heritage. Really, the only thing we have to compare these two teams to so far this season is that Bentonville has played both of these schools. Bentonville able to beat Fayetteville. Har-Ber took down Bentonville a couple of weeks ago, and because of that, it has some Har-Ber fans excited about the game. But just sitting up here talking beforehand, we know that this could be a close one.
Yeah, you know, we've talked about it time and time again that anybody can beat anybody in the 7A West Conference. Fayetteville, Har-Ber, Bentonville, usually they're the ones jockeying for state championship position, and it's been that way for the last 10 years. So, you know, like we said earlier in the pregame, these guys, this is a state championship quality game. We're just going to see it in the middle of the season.
Now, a couple players to watch for both teams. Obviously, for Har-Ber, I feel like everything's going to revolve around quarterback play. Peyton Kofer at quarterback. Is he going to be able to throw the football enough to keep this talented Fayetteville defense off balance? If he's able to do that, he could run all over him, and Har-Ber could run all over him.
Right. Yeah, I think the key, obviously, is Kofer. The Kofer, you know, whether he's throwing the ball accurate, he's making plays downfield deep, striking quick, or he's a run threat, and he's one of the fastest guys in the state of Arkansas. So they have to respect every time the snap goes off, and so you know it's just going to boil down to execution on Har-Ber's side, on the offensive side of the ball. If they can make plays quick and they can get them outside the box, where they're respecting the pass play or they're respecting the run play, I think Har-Ber's going to be successful.
And on Fayetteville's side, it really comes down to Taylor Powell. You almost feel certain that he's going to come out and have a good game. He's one of those players that's going to get his every week. Extremely talented arm, can get outside the pocket and throw it a little bit. He's also got a talented receiver in Barrett Bannister. And on the defensive side, they've got Byers, who's committed to Alabama. So this Fayetteville team doesn't lack talent, but just talking to people around Northwest Arkansas in the 7A West, they don't feel like this Fayetteville squad is as complete as they were last year. They lost some skill players.
Yeah, Fayetteville is always rich with talent. And so, whether they're lacking some skill players or not, they'll have plenty of players that can rise up and fill those gaps and fill those shoes that were vacated from last year's team, state championship team. They do have a new coach, obviously, so Bill Blankenship here for his first year. I think that's probably more of where the unanswered questions are going to lie. He plays Coach Wood for the first time, so it's going to be interesting.
And you hear a lot of talk as well about this Fayetteville team not necessarily playing with a lot of passion this year, not a lot of energy. I don't feel like they're going to be lacking any energy tonight in this ball game.
No, I think everybody's going to be on the seat of their chair. These guys are going to be foaming at the mouth the whole game. It's going to be an incredible game. I don't think we've seen a caliber or a quality of a game in the 7A West so far this year, if not the state of Arkansas.
Well, it's going to be a great matchup. We can't wait to get it started. Just about 3 minutes and 40 seconds till kickoff here in Springdale. Don't go anywhere. Kickoff's up next. You're watching Har-Ber Wildcat football.
Captains for tonight's game first. The Bulldogs from Fayetteville, number 3, Barrett Bannister. Number 7, Taylor Powell. Number 9, Terrence Rock. And number 48, Daniel Braddock. Captains for the Wildcats, number 1, Trey Smith. And number 24, Clayton Kunkel. Officials for tonight's game, the back judge, Dodie Nielsen. The line judge, Joe Cloud. The head linesman, Charles Muller. The umpire, Mike Rottinghouse Jr. And our referee tonight, Stan Sims. Fayetteville wins the toss. They defer to the second half. Har-Ber will receive. Fayetteville will kick off and defend the north end zone. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the students, faculty.
Presented by Everett Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale, I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
Catering for WCSN provided by Domino's.
At number 4 in the state. We extend a cordial welcome to the Bulldogs, their fans, head coach Bill Blankenship.
Welcome back to Har-Ber Wildcat Stadium. Under a minute left till kickoff. And the Wildcats just about ready to take the field here in Springdale. And Donald, I'm just about ready to get this one going.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I've been looking forward to this all season long. I left Little Rock last year with kind of this just empty pit in my stomach after the state championship game. And I think it's rematch time here for the Wildcats.
Here comes Har-Ber out of the tunnel. Peyton Kofer carrying the flag, as well as Dalton Duangdara. A couple of upperclassmen ready to get this rivalry game underway. And Donald, we talked about it. This one's going to be heated the whole night. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some chippiness after plays. Both of these teams want this one bad.
Yeah, and I hate to say that, but there's going to be some flags. Like, these guys are, the intensity's going to be hot, the tempers are going to be short. everybody is fighting tooth and nail for a victory tonight, and there are going to be some late hits coming in because they're going to be playing hard. We're going to see an incredible football game tonight.
Well, Har-Ber did lose the toss and will receive the football to begin the game. We haven't seen them. I don't feel like we've seen them receive the opening kickoff in a long time. Most of the time back is TJ Eckwood as well as Brock Pounders. Tonight it looks like it's going to be Eckwood and Matt Thomas deep, as well as Blaze Brothers. Eckwood, a guy who has a ton of speed, a track star in the 7A, and has 2 pick sixes on the year. Both times he's touched the football on defense, he's taken it to the house. We love to watch him get the ball in the open field.
Yeah, we really do. I don't want to categorize him towards Deion Sanders, but that's a lot like what he looks like when he runs.
Kick is underway. It's a bouncer fielded right in front of the 20. And he's going backwards as he is tackled at the 10. That's a well-executed squib kick by Fayetteville, and tough field possession for Har-Ber to start things off.
Yeah, not where you want to start off against a team like Fayetteville. Obviously, you want to go at least to the 20. That ball looked like if he didn't pick it up, was going out of bounds. But Har-Ber, they're going to start there at the 12 and see what the offense has in store for Fayetteville.
Peyton Kofer leading the team out there, and Connor Sykes actually going to start the game at running back for Har-Ber. No Logan Collins. He is dressed out, went through warm-up, so I won't be surprised if we see him tonight, but the sophomore going to get the start at running back. First play to Sykes right up the middle, and he's got a huge hole. Sykes across the 20, gets all the way down to about the 29. Gain of about 16 on first down, and that's the way you start a football game.
And just like that, we're out to the 30, and we're in a hurry-up offense on top of that.
First and 10 at the 30-yard line for the Wildcats. Trey Smith in motion. They're going to hand it off right back up the middle to Sykes. He's fighting for tough yardage across the 30. It looks like he just got about 1. I'm going to bring up a 2nd and long, but already you see that Har-Ber offensive line knocking some heads up the middle.
Yeah, Har-Ber's got a big offensive line and they're very talented, so it's going to be important for them to establish the run up the middle and establish dominance right from the start.
Fayetteville having trouble getting lined up. As Kofer gets the snap, he's going to hand it off up the middle again, and this time Sykes knocked backwards by a linebacker. That looked like Olsen Kester. Kester Olsen, actually. First team we've played that has the last names and first names backwards. So 3rd and 8 for the Wildcats. 2 receivers to each side. Kunkel lined up in the backfield for pass protection. Kofer going to keep it and run up the middle, and he's not going to have any room for the first down. Fayetteville had that one sniffed out, and looks like Har-Ber's going to have to punt on their first drive.
Yeah, Fayetteville is loading the box. Har-Ber's trying to get them off kilter there with their hurry-up offense, but they've got 7 people inside the box. It's going to be hard to run up the middle against 7 people every play.
Yeah, they have Akil Byers listed as number 99, but looking at number 96, and I'm pretty sure that's Byers. There's Har-Ber ready to punt this one away. Fayetteville bringing some pressure up the middle as this one is a nice punt. Fielded it around the 20. Fair caught by Bannister. And Grant Allen flipping the field a little bit there with the punt.
Yeah, it's not how we wanted to start it off when we get the kickoff in the first possession of the game. But I'm going to strike that out or mark it up as pre-game jitters. Get them out of the way. It's going to be neat to see what the defense is. I don't think Fayetteville's played a defense like Har-Ber's. So they're in store for a little bit of physical play.
So Fayetteville going to set up at the 21-yard line. Taylor Powell, the senior Wake Forest commit. Bring a man in motion, and they're going to hand it off on the jet sweep. Har-Ber trying to stretch it out towards the sidelines, and that's what they're able to do. Nice play out there by TJ Eckwood to stop the ball carrier for a gain of 1.
Yeah, Har-Ber doing a good job stretching it out to the sideline. Har-Ber's very fast, obviously, so Fayetteville's going to have to counter that with some sort of trickery or some power.
Two receivers to the right. One to the left. Taylor Powell gets the snap, hands it off over the right side. Nasalai out there to make the play. And once again, short gain. Pretty surprised to see Fayetteville running the football here.
Yeah, I am too. I think they're basically looking for some weak spots there on Har-Ber's defense and seeing what they can do. But like I said, the Wildcats are just a very aggressive defense and very fast pace.
Trips right, one at the top of the screen. Definitely a throwing situation. Har-Ber's been bringing a lot of blitzes on these 3rd and longs this year. Might see Nasalai shoot that gap and try to get after Taylor Powell early in this game.
We're fixing to see the first pass.
Powell with the snap. Looking for a man. Now he's going to chunk it deep. He's got one-on-one coverage, and this one is knocked away by Blaze Brothers, but they're going to throw the flag.
Yeah, Blaze Brothers wasn't even looking for the football. So they're going to flag him. And that is just not the kind of penalty Har-Ber needs early in the game.
Well, it's a tough play. It was a underthrown pass. If Brothers is able to turn around, he might box that guy out and intercept it.
Yeah, Brothers, obviously he's got the speed to do that, but he needs to play the ball a little bit better, deeper downfield.
That'll bring up a 1st and 10 at the 39 for Fayetteville. Still not hurt. So you've got two receivers to each side. Powell hands it off up the middle. No room to run once again, but the running back spun out of that first tackle, tried to get away from our man Hayden Hill, but was only able to pick up 2 yards and going to bring up 2nd and 8. But that's where Har-Ber wants to keep Fayetteville in those 2nd and 3rd and long situations.
Yeah, you're going to see Hinton run a lot. He's a big guy, 255. He's going to be hard to tackle.
Once again, handoff over the left side. Nice tackle there by Hayden Hill once again, and that'll bring up 3rd and down. Fayetteville really trying to establish the run here on their first drive.
Yeah, they really are. They're going to keep giving it to Hinton there and keep running it up as we're basically stretched downfield with wide receivers. I notice Hayward isn't covering the second guy. It's twins to the bottom of the screen.
Fayetteville lined up behind center. A little toss sweep to the left side. It's going to be close to the first down marker, but I believe he's going to be short by a yard. Nice pursuit there by that Har-Ber defense, and this will bring up an interesting decision for Fayetteville.
Yeah, that's the 3rd play in a row with Hinton. He's a big guy, so it's going to be hard to tackle him, especially if you tackle him up high. So he's going to get 2 or 3 yards every time he gets the ball.
Powell lined up behind center once again, hands it off up the middle, and he is stuffed at about the 47-yard line, and Fayetteville turns the football over. The Har-Ber defense stepping up.
Har-Ber defense just clogs the middle, makes no room. He's trying to take a backside seam there on the bottom side of your screen, and there was just nothing open.
And now Har-Ber set up in prime field position in Fayetteville territory, and this is where Coach Wood likes to strike fast. Might see the deep ball right off the bat.
Absolutely. I was just going to say the same thing. And this is textbook Coach Wood, downfield, quick for the big pass.
Trey Smith lined up in the slot. As Har-Ber's going to change the play at the line of scrimmage, and we got a flag on the play, and have to see what that is.
Sideline.
So sideline warning on Har-Ber. I guess he called that on the coach who was changing the play.
Yeah, no, he stepped out onto the field, and as soon as he did that, he threw the flag.
So no harm, no yardage lost on the play as they're going to bring Trey Smith in motion. As Kofor gets a snap and hands it off around the left side. Had me faked out for a second. It was Sykes who had the football and picked up 1. If Kofor keeps that around the right edge, he might still be running.
Yeah, it looked like it opened up. Everybody bought down on the handoff. That'd be a great little counter to throw around because Kofor's got the speed to get outside and get some extra yards.
So 2nd and 9. Same formation for the Wildcats. Bring Trey Smith in motion. Kofor looking to pass. Tries to step up in the pocket. Now he is brought down after a gain of about 1. He was looking for Trey Smith downfield, but Smith actually fell down.
Yeah, Trey Smith was deep downfield, and the pocket collapsed before he could get to Trey Smith because he did trip up. And Kofor, he's got the speed. He could get a few extra yards, but I think he just got shoestring there at the end.
3rd and 8 for the Wildcats. Kofor with the hard count. Now he's going to look towards the sidelines and try to change the play, and Har-Ber doesn't like what they see. And they will burn their first timeout of the first half. We'll take a timeout with them. 5:41 left to play here in the first quarter. Score is tied at 0s. We'll be right back. You're watching Har-Ber Wildcat football.
Presented by Everett Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale, I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
Welcome back into Har-Ber Wildcat Stadium. 5:41 left to go here in the first quarter. Har-Ber set up in a 3rd and long from the Fayetteville 46. 2 receivers to each side of Kofor. He's going to drop back and look to throw. Now stepping up in the pocket, and he's going to tuck it and run. Kofor across the 40, across the 35, all the way down to around the 32. Kofor's got the first down by a mile. And that sets up Har-Ber for their second first down of the game.
Yeah, obviously Fayetteville they bought in on the pass play. Kofor check off, and he's running up the middle because there's plenty of space. His speed gets him the first down.
Wildcats lined up in the pistol. Sykes behind Kofor. He's going to hand it off to Sykes right up the middle. He's going to fall forward for maybe a yard. But so far in between the tackles, Fayetteville has had Har-Ber sniffed out, but I don't think they mind that, Donald. It's the same thing they did against Bentonville. They make you look between the tackles, and then they start running it outside, and that's where they really start to hurt you.
No, absolutely. Coach Wood he's testing for weaknesses right now, and he's learning after every single play. And so here shortly, you're going to see this thing open up pretty quick.
2nd down and 9. Trey Smith moving into the backfield. Kofor going to fake it. Now throw it to Smith out in the flat. He's got it at the 20. He's fighting for extra yardage all the way down to the 17-yard line. That's a first down for the Wildcats, and I love the play call. I don't think we've seen that play all year, a little play action rollout to Smith.
Yeah, Kofor does a great job of reversing out, bootlegging to the bottom of your screen. Trey Smith's right there, get the ball in his hands, and he's hard to tackle, so pays off for first down.
Kofor now going to look to keep it up the middle, lowered his head at the 16-yard line. You always fear for that play because Kofor's always looking to run someone over.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of quarterbacks keeping the ball on it, but Kofor has ran the ball more than I think any quarterback has in the 7A West.
2nd down and 8. 2 receivers to each side, and we've got a flag. It's got to be a false start if they're going to blow it dead, I would think.
False start against the Wildcats, 5 yards.
So far, Har-Ber's been penalized 3 times to Fayetteville's 0. And that's something you got to watch for, as the game continues.
Yeah, I was expecting more late hit penalties than just mental breakdowns.
Kofor with the snap, looking to throw across the middle, and this one is picked off at the goal line. Fayetteville returning it around the left sideline as he is upended at the 25 by Duangdara. And the first big break goes to the Bulldogs, as that was a pass to a man that wasn't open.
Yeah, I felt like that was kind of pushed a little bit. And then on top of that, Sykes gets leveled right after that play, and he comes up slow. And that's not what we need. It's another running back hurt.
No. We thought this could be a defensive battle so far in the first quarter. That's exactly what it's been.
Yeah, there's only 3:43 left in the first quarter, and it's gone by fast.
Yeah, Fayetteville's only thrown one pass, so wouldn't be surprised to see him throw here. But they're going to run it. They hand it off around the left side as Noah Hayward was there to make the tackle. He was able to get about 4 yards after contact. That'll bring up 2nd and 6.
And Noah doing a good job of covering down on the bottom of the screen for your receivers and then checking for the run first.
Powell with the snap. Looking to get it out of his hands quickly. Now going to throw a fade down the sidelines. The man pushed off. They're going to throw the flag, and I think it's going to be an offensive pass interference. It's got to be an offensive pass interference.
Yeah, he pushed off at the last moment, just before he got the pass.
He also wasn't in bounds either, and the referee said he was in bounds. His left foot was way out of bounds. But it is an offensive pass interference. That was 2 hands to the back, and that'll bring that big catch way back beyond the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it's a good little momentum stopper for Fayetteville. It's going to bring them 2nd down, but they've got 20 yards here to go.
So 2nd down from the 13 line to gains the 35, so about 22 yards to gain here. As that's going to be a false start as well. Har-Ber student section making some noise, and that's going to bring him back even more. But they're saying offsides on Har-Ber? Who was offsides?
I have no idea. I thought it was number 2 jumping, the corner or the wing back here at the bottom of the screen. But I mean, he moved, so I don't know if he moved.
I was about to say I didn't even see anybody on Har-Ber's team move. So now that gives Fayetteville a couple of yards back, as it's now 2nd down and 14. With a quick pass to the outside, Brock Pounders fights across the blocker and comes up and makes a big hit. The sophomore, who's had a big year all year, and now they're going to give Har-Ber the first down, or they're going to give the Fayetteville the first down because, like you said, late hits. Brighton Cook came in and shoved a player in the face mask.
Yeah, that's just not going to fly in a game like this. You just can't have, the intensity, the energy is high. You just can't have those kind of plays.
So you're going to give Fayetteville 3rd and long, but instead you give them the first down, and that's just one of those maturity deals. You can't have that.
No, you really can't. You're coached to play at the edge of being just absolutely off the cart mad, but you still have to have self-restraint, and especially in a game like this, it takes discipline.
And right in front of a referee as well. As Fayetteville brings the man in motion, they're going to hand it off up the middle. And Oliver Nasalai drags the ball carrier into the backfield. That kid is a stud,
though. He really is. We saw the big hit against Bentonville West, the massive hit against Bentonville West last week. And he's a force to be reckoned with. And as Coach Witt has said, he plays downhill fast, and he just loves to hit people.
So 2nd down and 9 for the Purple Dogs. They're going to line up in the pistol. We've seen them line up in a number of different formations today. Bring the receiver in motion. They're going to hand it off to the left, and no room to run again. That Har-Ber defensive line is getting after it.
Yeah, Har-Ber's played a very aggressive defense. They've had for the last 2 years. They're very quick, very aggressive, and it's paying off right now.
They're bringing Peyton Kofer into play safety right here on 3rd and long.
That's just speed right there. Kofor, obviously, big experience from last year playing in defensive backfield.
Powell gets a snap, looking to throw. Now he's going to check it down to his receiver, who bobbles it about 4 times before dropping it. There was a flag, and I think they're going to call holding. Oliver Nasalai had gotten into the backfield, and the offensive tackle grabbed him by his shoulder pad. That one will be declined, though, and bring up 4th down.
Yeah, that's probably not a bad play for Fayetteville to hold Nasalai to protect the quarterback, even if it's going to cost you a penalty. Because he's probably the last person on Har-Ber's defense that I'd want to be hit from.
So 4th and 9, Fayetteville going to punt it to TJ Eckwood, who's back around the 20. They brought the pressure, but this is a decent punt, has good hang time, won't be fielded. And gets a Fayetteville bounce all the way down to around the 22-yard line, and that's where the Wildcats will set up shop. Donald, you have to be pleased with the defensive effort so far in the first quarter.
No, I am. I could have used a few less penalties. It seems like we had them pinned back, and we just gave them the key to the front door, and it gave them opportunities that they don't need to have. So, I'm sure that's getting corrected right now on the sideline. Coach Fimple's not going to accept that.
And on the last drive for Har-Ber, you're all the way down at the Fayetteville 30, and you force a pass in. You might see them, play it a little more conservative when they get down there on 1st down. Just try to bust one with the run game. Kofor hands it off to Sykes up the middle. He is across the 20, but really only able to pick up a yard. It seems like that's been the go-to, just 1 yard on 1st down.
Yeah. They've got to have at least 3 yards per play to make this thing work. It just seems like running up the middle is it's closing off the hole quick. These big guys from Fayetteville.
They're going to put Sykes in the slot and bring Trey Smith in motion. They're going to fake it to Smith as Kofor is going to try to get it up the middle, and he is hit hard right as he gets to the line of scrimmage. Nick Scalise, big linebacker, 6'1", 185 with a nice hit.
Fayetteville playing a 3-4 defense, and they're just, they got 7 people in the box, and so it's going to be, we got to throw the pass to spread these guys out a little bit more, so we have more running seams on the front side and the back side.
Kofor is looking to pass, steps up in the pocket, throws it across the middle, and overthrows Trey Smith. He had set down in that zone, but it's a tough one to try to thread it into. That'll bring up 4th down for the Wildcats, a 3-and-out forced by that Fayetteville defense.
Yeah, I think the last thing that Kofor wanted to do was throw another interception and force a bad throw. So, not happy with the incomplete on the 3rd down, but we fight another day.
So, Grant Allen back in punt formation. Gets a good snap. That's another wobbly kick fielded at the 45. Bannister actually could have returned that one, but just called fair catch.
Yeah, out of safeness. Har-Ber, Har-Ber's defense now is, time and time again, they're kind of putting the whole team on their back, put a lot of pressure on the defense, and that's kind of when Har-Ber's defense rises to the top. They kind of, they've got 10 seconds left to go in the first quarter. We're still scoreless here. Har-Ber's defense, they'll even score touchdowns if they have to.
Fayetteville's starting out with 4 wide. Haven't seen them really try the passing game a whole lot. They've been running the football with their big man there as he picked up 8 yards. That's Dan Hinton. That's the end of the first quarter. So 0-0 the score. We've got a defensive battle here, Donald. We'll be back for the second after a quick commercial break. You're watching Har-Ber Wildcat football.
Catering for WCSN provided by Domino's.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together. Catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Served with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Welcome back. Just about ready to start the second quarter as Fayetteville is in Har-Ber territory at the 48-yard line. It's the first time we've seen Fayetteville on this side of the field and set up in a 2nd and 3. And might try to chunk one deep here. So they're going to hand it right back off to Hinton, who's got the first down. The big man fighting for extra yards, and it seems like they just want to lean on Har-Ber with that big back.
Well, they've been getting big chunks of yardage there, so moving the sticks. So, I mean, it's probably not a bad play. He comes off the field now.
I just don't feel like he's going to be able to carry it a ton. He's such a big guy.
Yeah, he's going to be gassed at the end of the game.
Fayetteville brings a couple of men in motion. They're going to fake it and get it out into the flat. And once again, Har-Ber had a man there to make the tackle. This time, Eckwood able to bring the man down in the backfield. TJ Eckwood backing up his corner. Nice play by the safety.
Yeah, great play. Pounders coming up fast and just missed on the tackle. It's a rare error for Brock Pounders. Unfortunately, Eckwood was there to clean it up.
Powell gets the snap, looking downfield. Now he's going to run with the football, and he's got a ton of room as he just gets out of bounds after picking up the first down. It didn't look like his offense was ready to run the play.
No, I don't think they were set either, but I don't see any flags on the play. You know, Hill had him tackled for a loss if he'd have just kept his, broke down before he got to the ball carrier. But Powell, the reason why he is the player he is, was able to elude the tackle and pick up the first down.
So 1st and 10 from the 29. Powell is looking quickly to the sidelines. Now he's got his man over there. Har-Ber defense trying to step up and make the tackle, and they'll drag him out of bounds after a gain of about 6, but it looked like they might have had him for a loss at first.
Yeah, that was just pure athleticism. It was just open field, trying to tackle in space, and they just weren't able to do it, so they pick up extra yards.
2nd and 4. Hand it off to Hinton, who finds a hole up the middle, and he is just rumbling for the first down. He's a guy you can't tackle high.
No, you really got to get below his belt and tie up his legs. I mean, there's not very many defenders on Har-Ber's side that are 255 that can stop that kind of momentum, and so you've got to hit him low.
1st and 10 for Fayetteville. Once again, handed off to Hinton. Nasalai meets him at the line of scrimmage, and he is just backing up for yardage.
Yeah. No, that's a lot of momentum to stop in short order.
Going to pick up 4 or 5 on first down. Now Fayetteville inside the 10 at the 9.
Nasalai, as big as he is, he's still 5 pounds less than Hinton.
And they're bringing in Damon Nelson, another big body up the middle.
Coach Fent is probably tired of seeing him running up the middle.
Powell looking for the quick pass out to Bannister. He's got it. There's a man there to make the tackle. Referees blow the play dead. There's Blaze Brothers out there one-on-one with Bannister. That's their playmaker on the outside.
Yeah, Brothers giving a little bit of cushion. They take advantage of it, but he did a good job of tackling him and keeping him from getting that extra touchdown.
So 3rd and 1. Fayetteville brings the man in motion. Going back to hand it off to Hinton. He's fighting for the extra yardage, and he loses the football, and Har-Ber's got it. It's picked up by Eckwood on the sidelines, and he's on the move. Eckwood at the 30. Cuts back at the 40, and he's out of bounds. The first takeaway for the Har-Ber defense, and the Wildcats are set up at the 40-yard line.
And just like that, Har-Ber gets their back off. Here comes the replay. Let's take a look at it.
For the extra yardage, and he loses the football, and Har-Ber's got it. It's picked up by Eckwood on the sidelines, and he's on the move. Eckwood at the 30, cuts back at the 40, and he's out of. You know, and you see Eckwood pick it up with that much room, you're thinking he might take it 100.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Here's the deal too: is that now Hinton has fumbled the ball, so the coach is gonna lose confidence in that as well.
This time Kofor looking to keep it, cuts back, trying to pick up some positive yardage, and gets about 4 on first down. It's the best we've seen on first down in a long time.
Yeah, no, we'll take it. 5 yards.
$8:50 to play here in the first half. 2nd and 5 for the Wildcats. Kofor getting the snap, going to go quick out to Duandara. Duandara all the way to the 50-yard line. Have to see where the spot is. But I believe they're going to give him the first down. And that's the first time we've seen Duandara touch the football in weeks.
Yeah, no, we've been kind of chomping at the bits to see him get back in the game and make some big plays that we're accustomed to watching.
1st and 10 inside Fayetteville territory at the 49. Bring Trey Smith in motion, and they're going to give it to him around the left edge. Trey Smith makes the first man miss. He's at the 50, cuts back at the 45, but we got a flag on the play, and that'll most definitely be holding.
Yeah, it came from the spot usually where you see the holding penalties thrown. Not the momentum stopper Har-Ber needs at this point.
So it is holding on Har-Ber. They've been penalized quite a bit. I believe that's the 5th flag here in the first half.
Yeah, I expected a lot of penalties, but not
these type of penalties.
Yeah, not these kind of mental breakdown penalties.
All the way back to the 39, so they're got to go from 139 to the other 39. First and 21 for the Wildcats. Kofor rolling out to his right, going to find Duandara on the sidelines, who gets across the 50, and just about all the way to the original line of scrimmage. But I like the use of Duandara. That takes more pressure off of Trey Smith.
No, absolutely. It dilutes the defense, and it forces them to respect all the players on the field. And so, he's a welcome addition back on the field, so it's going to be harder for them to cover.
Kofor gets a snap, looking to run it up the middle, puts his head down across the 45. That'll bring up a 3rd and 6, very manageable.
It is manageable. I don't like seeing, and I've said I don't like seeing Kofor running in as much because it subjects him to injury. But he's effective when he gets a seam. He's effective for several yards.
Kofor rolling out to his right, looking for his man. This one was knocked out of his hand, and Har-Ber, I think they're going to say that he caught it as they're saying they're going to roll the clock. They did. They gave him the catch.
Gave him the 1-yard catch.
He's lucky that wasn't a turnover, because he was actually looking for Trey Smith on the double move.
Dara with the athleticism on the catch.
Har-Ber's going to bring out the punt team, it looks like. They do not want to give Fayetteville good field position. Even though it's 4th and 5, you feel like they would have gone for this against any other team this year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Allen gets the snap and just smashes this one down the field into the end zone. That's his best punt probably of the year, and one time they didn't need him to really get into one.
Yeah, it was a 55-yard punt, and it was a beautiful kick. So that'll come out to the 20, which is better than the 50.
So once again, Har-Ber going to rely on that defense to keep giving them opportunities. And you'd love another turnover here with Fayetteville pinned back in their own territory.
Yeah, and we've got 7 minutes, 10 seconds on the clock. So this game is going fast because they're running the ball a lot.
Powell brings the man in motion. Looking down the field, he has a man, and it's caught at the 50-yard line breaks a tackle at the 40 and is all the way down and loses the football. He loses the football and Har-Ber's got it, picked up by Blaze Brothers, and once again Fayetteville turns it over and the Wildcats have it.
That was just, fighting for extra yardage. And let's check the replay on that, but it was a hard hit.
At the 50-yard line, breaks a tackle at the 40 and is all the way down and loses the football. He loses the football and Har-Ber's got it, picked up by Blaze Brothers, and once a big turnover from Fayetteville once again, and it's just like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, the coach loses confidence every time that happens. In the running back, in the last possession, Hinton fumbles the ball. Downfield on a pass play, a big pass play, fumbles. You're running out of options at this point.
And you're keeping this Fayetteville defense on the field. They're going to hand it off up the middle to Sykes, who was brought down after a short gain. And the linebackers for the Purple Dogs have really been sound.
Yeah, they've done a great job of scraping off and filling up the holes. And Har-Ber likes to just line up and run it at you. That's kind of Har-Ber's MO. They don't really disguise it. You know what you're going to get with Har-Ber, and they dare you to stop them.
2nd down and 8. Gopher dropping back to pass. Now he's going to tuck it and run and has nowhere to go as he is thrown down well after the whistle is blown and no flags.
Nope. And it happened right in front of the referee.
Yeah. So 3rd down and 8. Once again, Har-Ber in a 3rd and long situation, not what they like to be in.
No, it's really uncomfortable position.
Gopher dropping back to pass, feeling the pressure, and he is sacked. That's Akil Byers, the big man. He brings him down at the 25, and that'll bring up a 4th and long. The Alabama commit getting to the quarterback.
Yeah, he comes strong off the backside. And, the pocket collapsed pretty quick. Gopher not able to get the ball sighted downfield where he could throw it. And a sack is the result.
Oh, that'll be a false start there. Bryden Cook a little antsy on the punt team, and that'll drop Har-Ber back 5 yards. They need to be careful here because the last couple of times Bannister's caught it with plenty of room to run, but did a fair catch.
Yeah.
He might catch this one and go.
Especially if it's not a great punt and he picks up good field position, he will take off and run with it. He's a capable runner, and Bryden Cook does it again.
Yeah, and they didn't call it that time. Once again, fair catch on the other side of the 50, but it should have been another play as that was a false start.
I'm not sure what the miscommunication was down on the field, but it's kind of rare to see Har-Ber make the same mistake 2 times in a row.
Another score from around 7A West. Springdale up 22-0 over Van Buren.
That's a must-win for the Red Dogs.
Har-Ber's got Van Buren next week.
And we'll travel down the mountain, see the pointers.
Kyle bringing a man in motion, going to hand it up to Terrence Rock, and he's got nothing up the middle. Actually loses a yard, and that's your man Nasalai stepping up and making a play.
That's a perfect example of what we're talking about. The coach, Hinton fumbles the football. He's been running it nonstop. Fumbles the football. Now he's not running the football anymore because the coach doesn't have confidence in him. So that forces them deep into their playbook to utilize other players that maybe wasn't in the game plan originally.
Kyle looking to throw. Got a man, lobs it up, overthrows him at the 30-yard line. They're running a lot of hole throws, as I like to call them. As soon as they get past that first man, they're trying to throw it in between the corner and the safety. And Har-Ber's got pretty good safety play. Bryden Cook was over there, but luckily a little overthrown. Kyle brings his man in motion. Now stepping up in the pocket, might have to tuck it and run. There is a flag on the play. He threw it out of bounds, but it's either got to be a hold or it's got to be a hold. I don't think he was across the line of scrimmage. It is. Har-Ber's going to decline it. We like watching defense, Donald, but I'd like to see a little offense as well.
I think we've seen offense. We just haven't seen the end zone.
And you see Coach Wood down there studying the iPad, trying to look for those
seams and weaknesses. Yeah, it's a great shot.
Low snap on the punt. This one is almost blocked by the Wildcats. Low line drive, bouncing and rolling all the way to the 10-yard line. And once again, Fayetteville flips the field, and Har-Ber's got a long way to go.
Yeah, the seesaw, we've seen going back and forth. You know, like you said just a minute ago, it's a defensive battle. Right as we saw Coach Wood there on the sideline studying, and you know, he's an offensive genius, and so you know it's not out of the realm to see Har-Ber strike quickly and get the ball on their side of the field.
So 1st and 10 for the Wildcats. That's going to be a false start. Har-Ber having a hard time when Fayetteville tries to coax them to jump. They've been jumping.
Yeah, these are just the mental breakdowns that we don't need. You know, I expected a lot of touchdowns, but I expected late hits and unnecessary roughness and personal fouls. But you know, these just mental breakdowns are just going to be maybe the difference in the game.
And off up the middle, no room to run. As a Har-Ber player got his helmet knocked off and left to head to the sidelines.
And Harry will have to come off.
Play action pass. Kofer looking to go deep, and this one is almost picked off, but I believe it is caught by Trey Smith. Holy cow, how did he catch that?
For a first down, I thought that was an interception.
Yeah.
And it's the top of the screen. It's kind of hard to see from this side, this angle, but you know, Trey just kind of sat there, and it looked like he was in amazement himself.
Holding.
Second down, Wildcats, the ball inside their 3-yard line.
So it'll be 2nd and 17 for Har-Ber, wiping out the big play, and now the safety is the only thing you fear as Kofer bobbles the snap. He loses the football, and it's in the end zone, recovered by Fayetteville for a touchdown.
Yep, that is not the mental breakdown that we need. You know, it's just a bad snap, a bobble snap, and Fayetteville capitalizes on the turnover.
So a touchdown for Fayetteville. Har-Ber, you know, really hasn't executed that well here in the first half.
No, they really haven't. They really haven't, and they've done it to themselves so far. You know, these have just been mistakes that don't need to take place. Penalties that are just uncalled for.
Purple Dogs lining up for the extra point. Kick is on the way, and it is good. And Fayetteville takes the first lead of the ball game, 7-0 here with 3:30 left to go in the first half. We'll take a quick commercial break and be right back. You're watching the Har-Ber Wildcats Sports Network.
With 3:30 remaining in the first half.
Absolute Heat and Air still does business the old-fashioned way. We start by answering your call 24/7, 365 by one of our real caring employees. Our technicians are fully licensed and insured, background checked, and drug tested, so you can absolutely trust Absolute Heat and Air. With over 75 years of combined experience, our team of professionals delivers the services you need all over Northwest Arkansas with a commitment to excellence. In the end, your satisfaction is guaranteed. That's the way we do business. Contact Absolute Heat and Air today. You'll be glad you did.
Welcome back into Wildcat Stadium, 7-0 Bulldogs, and Donald, Wildcats just have to answer back here.
Yeah, they really do. They just got to settle down and play their game. You know, Har-Ber is capable of beating anybody in the state, but they just can't beat themselves.
Another little squib kick up the middle, fielded by the Wildcats at the 20. That's Eckwood, makes the first man miss. Now he's just got to hold on to the football, and I believe he did, as he is brought down at around the 29-yard line.
I'm kind of, we say this every single game, but when Eckwood gets the ball, I'm almost willing him to get an open field just so we can see him kind of get on his horse.
First time we've seen Logan Collins as he trots out to play a little running back here. That's Ben Har-Ber's main man all year.
A welcome addition back to the backfield.
They're going to hand it to Collins, who was drugged down after a no gain on first down. He tried to cut it outside, but there's just nothing there.
So Collins, first time in the game, so it's gonna, he's gonna have to get his feet wet a little bit and figure out what's going on the defense here, so he can adapt his running style to the backside seams and the open spaces.
It looks like Har-Ber's going to have to burn another timeout. With 2:54 left to go here in the first half, we'll take a break with the Wildcats. It is 7-0 Bulldogs.
We came to Arvest Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to be involved in the community and want to be part of the community.
They support our university, our athletic department.
They've told us that they could have a fleet of volunteers there to help this year if we need it.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Arvest.
Arvest Bank, our customers say it best.
Welcome back into Wildcat Stadium. Har-Ber has the football at their own 29. Really hasn't gotten much going offensively. The first play of the game, they broke about a 19-yard run, and since then there has been no holes up the middle.
Yeah, it seems like they're just kind of trying to figure out what the seams are and what the open spaces are, and they've just not been able to do it.
Play action pass. Gopher looking deep, but he's overthrown his man by a long shot. Was looking for Smith. He actually had Dar open on the right side, but his eyes were glued to Trey Smith.
Yeah, he's used to throwing it to Trey Smith, and Trey Smith is always, he's kind of been the go-to guy so far this year, so it's going to be a little self-discipline for Gopher, to break his eyes off of that, so the linebackers aren't keying and defensive backs aren't keying on that. And it also gives the defense a chance to respect Dar, so we have some more plays.
Gopher dropping back to pass, and he's going to be sacked once again. That's a Kill Byers. The big man having his way so far in the first half. That's his second sack.
Yeah, Har-Ber's offense has got to provide better protection for Gopher. They got to provide, running lanes. They got to provide pass protection, and it's just the pocket just seems to collapse within 2 seconds, and he's got to have at least 3.5 seconds to get the play off.
Allen back to punt. Gets the snap, gets this one away. Another good one. Fair caught at the 45, and Fayetteville has just had the field position all night.
Yeah, I think it's boiled down to the Wildcat offense not getting the ball downfield, and so they're having to punt the ball with their back against the wall. And that's, even if you bang a 50-yarder, if Allen kicks a 50-yarder, you're still at midfield. That's a great field position to start a fresh set of downs on a turnover.
Har-Ber needs the defense to step up again. They've been great all night.
Har-Ber's defense, no stranger to taking the burden.
And off to Terrence Rock. No room up the middle. Nice play there on the outside. Bryce Yates coming up with the play.
You know, Rock is a fantastic athlete. You know, obviously a family of fantastic athletes. You know, I coached his younger brother. You know, they're just, you know, he's got to be respected, so they've got to get hands on him quickly before he gets past the line of scrimmage, or he's going to be hard to tackle.
Har-Ber bringing the blitz. He's just going to have to throw this one away. I like that dial up there by the Har-Ber defense.
Yeah. Adding pressure, making Powell, you know, scramble, and you know, you're just not as accurate throwing the football if you're running for your life.
I'll bring up 3rd and long. Har-Ber needs this stop, Donald.
Yeah, it's a big 3rd down for the Wildcats. You know, there's a minute 28 left to go in the half. And the Wildcats have got to get some points on the board before they turn the ball over to start the 3rd quarter.
Trips to the right, one receiver to the bottom of the screen. Har-Ber showing blitz, and they're going to bring it. Powell dropping back to throw. Now he's going to try to get outside of the pocket, sidesteps a man, and tries to get this one away. Wisely does, because Alejandro Ramirez and Bryce Yates were looking to lay the wood.
Yeah, I guess, you know, it's just like the last play. You know, you've got pressure and you're scrambling, and you can't make quick decisions. You can't make correct throws if you're running for your life, and that's just a great job of, you know, the Har-Ber defense.
Har-Ber needs a blocked punt or something here.
Yeah, we need better field position to take some of the stress and the pressure off of this Har-Ber offense.
There's the snap. The punt is away. It's a pretty good one. Caught by Eckwood at the 20-yard line, and it's just like a touchback.
Yep, we'll take it. 20-yard. The 20-yard line is good, respectable field position, and the Wildcats are used to starting fresh from the 20. So it's going to be interesting to see what Coach Wood has dialed up for the Purple Dogs.
And 1:15. You know, are they aggressive, or do they just try to get to halftime?
No, you got to play to win, so you got to be aggressive, and I think that's what, you know, we're going to come out here throwing.
Gopher with the snap. A little shovel pass to Kunkel. Kunkel's across the 20, out to the 30, runs over a man at the 30 and all the way down to the 33. Clayton Kunkel, a senior fullback, making a play.
Yeah, we saw that last couple weeks. Is Kunkel even scored, you know, on the shuttle pass, and so that's a great little play, and it forces the defense to respect. You know, even though it's a pass play, it's a lot like a run play, so they got to fill the middle.
Gopher looking for a man. Now he's going to have to tuck it and run. Gets to the outside, and now he cuts it upfield, and he's in the clear. Gopher at the 40, brought down at the Fayetteville 35. The junior quarterback doing it with his legs.
Yeah, doing a great job. Nothing downfield for him to throw at, and so, you know, typical Gopher fashion, he just tucks it and runs. He's fast enough to hit the seams to where he can get open field and get downfield quick.
Har-Ber's got to move quickly. They only have one timeout. Clock ticking under 40 seconds. Gopher with the snap. Feels the pressure on his back and is just able to get this one out of his hands before he is hammered by number 49, Karsten Johnson.
And Johnson doing a good job of fighting off the corners. Collapsing on Gopher's backside, but, you know, Gopher, you know, doing a good job of staying in the pocket and trying to get the play off. You know, that takes a lot of mental toughness to be able to do that.
Gopher with the snap. Now just going to try to run it up the middle. Not much there, and Har-Ber's going to have to take a timeout. So Har-Ber going to take a timeout with 24 seconds left to go here in the first half. It's 7-0 Fayetteville. You're watching the Har-Ber Wildcat Sports Network.
Ever since we incorporated theater into our practices, our hustle plays have increased 60%.
No, guys, I need more emotion. I want to feel it. Show me the emotions. Oh!
24 seconds left to go here in the first half. Har-Ber trying to put some points on the board. Gopher gets the snap, gonna have to step up in the pocket and get rid of the football, and this one's picked off at the 10. Intercepted by the Fayetteville defense. He's tackled at the 25, and once again, Har-Ber turns it over deep in Fayetteville territory, and if you're Gopher, you just gotta tuck that and run.
Yeah, you just can't throw the ball up there and have the receivers run underneath it. You know, the Fayetteville defensive backs are very athletic, and they're very fast, and they're very well coached. So they've got the experience to go over there and pick it off, and that's been evident here.
Coach Wood not happy with Gopher over there on the sidelines. It looks like he's just telling him, tuck it and run. If you don't have a man, just run it. You're the fastest player on the field.
If not the state.
Fayetteville going to play this one conservatively as they hand it off on the draw. Terrence Rock able to get to the 40, and I believe Fayetteville going to burn their first time out.
And Rock, like I said, if he gets across the line of scrimmage, he's going to be hard to tackle. He's very fast and very elusive.
And this will give Fayetteville a chance to probably just get one play in, wouldn't you think? 8 seconds?
Yeah, they called the timeout with 8 seconds, and I think they're trying to score here, so they're going to go deep.
You better be able, I mean, I'm sure he can chunk it about 50, 60 yards in the air.
This game is going to be about making adjustments at halftime now. You know, Fayetteville's up 7-0. It's been a very defensive-heavy game. And so it's going to be about who can make the adjustments at halftime, execute those adjustments, and not get the penalties. You know, it's been a penalty. It seems like that's kind of been the burden on Har-Ber's back. It's been these penalties that they've just kind of been shooting themselves in the foot. All that stuff has to be cleaned up if they're going to have a victory here.
So 5 receivers, 3 to the bottom of the screen. They're just going to go a quick out at around the 50, make the catch, and there's 3 seconds left, which will give them a chance to just throw it up to the end zone.
Yeah, you got 3 seconds left. Get the ball downfield. They're going to aim for it. They don't have anything to lose. You know, they got 7 points on the board. Har-Ber's got 0, and they're going to take a shot at it. So Fayetteville's going to take a timeout and think about it.
So who are you thinking they're going to target here? I'm thinking Bannister.
Yeah, I think everybody in the stadium's thinking pass play, and you know, I've seen coaches, especially in this conference, that'll give it to their running back up the middle because they got the defense so strung out downfield.
Yeah, there's just no way he'd score from the 50, you would think. Yeah. I saw Bannister. I was watching film of Fayetteville this week. He made a backhanded, one-handed touchdown catch last week.
It's impressive.
Yeah, very good athlete, extremely good hands. But a lot of times you just see the quarterback throw it into his biggest clump of receivers and try to get the ball tipped in the air and catch it. Smart thing to do for Har-Ber is bring a little pressure. They're not going to. They're just going to bring 3. And Fayetteville's going to run a little hook and lateral, and that's not going to do anything. And we'll send this football game to halftime. Fayetteville with the only points on the board, a defensive touchdown, and they go to the locker room up 7-0 over Har-Ber. Going to have to be some adjustments made, and we'll see if the Wildcats can do it as we head to halftime. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Har-Ber Wildcat Sports Network.
Presented by Everett Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale, I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
Catering for WCSN provided by Domino's.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together. Catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Serve with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
Absolute Heat and Air still does business the old-fashioned way. We start by answering your call 24/7, 365 by one of our real caring employees. Our technicians are fully licensed and insured, background checked, and drug tested, so you can absolutely trust Absolute Heat and Air. With over 75 years of combined experience, our team of professionals delivers the services you need all over Northwest Arkansas with a commitment to excellence. In the end, your satisfaction is guaranteed. That's the way we do business. Contact Absolute Heat and Air today. You'll be glad you did.
So, St. Matthews, his lightning fast speed.
No. He's got explosive speed.
Dude, he's lightning fast.
Sane, would you describe your speed as explosive or lightning fast? What? Dude, I'm telling you, he's explosive.
Lightning fast.
What's that? Lightning fast.
Lightning fast.
Yeah.
We came to Arvest Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to be involved in the community and want to be part of the community.
They support our university, our athletic department.
They've told us that they could have a fleet of volunteers there to help this year if we needed.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Arvest.
Arvest Bank. Our customers say it best.
Hometown. That word still means something here. It means we're neighbors. We do the right thing. We care about your family. And you deserve the very best every time you walk in the front door. Harps. Hometown fresh.
When accidents happen, our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge can mean less waiting and faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at Northwest Health System Bentonville and Springdale.
Here at Har-Ber, athletes make things run much smoother.
Need a runner. Two seconds slower than the last time, Chris. Come on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the field the Springdale Har-Ber High School Marching Band. The band is directed by Jeremy Ford, C.J. Morris, Chris Church, April Shelby, and Omar Alonzo, and is led on the field by drum majors Josh Lynn, Marlene Rojas Castillo, and Brianna DeLau. Our color guard is coordinated by Allison Whitehouse, and our percussion is assisted by Tim Clifford and Rob Edwards. Tonight, the band presents its newest competition show, Bach in a New Millennium, consisting of a modern twist on themes by the famous 18th century composer Johann Sebastian Bach. Drum major, is your band ready? And now, here they are, taking pride in excellence, the Har-Ber High School Wildcat Marching Band. Band. The band would like to thank Superintendent Dr. Jim Rollins, Principal Danny Brackett, and all of the administration of Springdale Public Schools for their support of the arts in Springdale.
Presented by Everett Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale, I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
Catering for WCSN provided by Domino's.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together. Catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Served with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Absolute Heat and Air still does business the old-fashioned way. We start by answering your call 24/7, 365 by one of our real caring employees. Our technicians are fully licensed and insured, background checked, and drug tested, so you can absolutely trust Absolute Heat and Air. With over 75 years of combined experience, our team of professionals delivers the services you need all over Northwest Arkansas with a commitment to excellence. In the end, your satisfaction is guaranteed. That's the way we do business. Contact Absolute Heat and Air today. You'll be glad you did.
So, St. Matthews, his lightning vest speed.
No. He's got explosive speed.
Dude, he's lightning fast.
Sane, would you describe your speed as explosive or lightning fast? What? Dude, I'm telling you, he's explosive.
Lightning fast.
What's that? Lightning fast.
Lightning fast.
Yeah.
We came to Har-Ber Bank to see what makes it different.
It's a community bank that really reaches out to the customers to make them feel special. I feel special every time I come in here.
They want to be involved in the community and want to be part of the community.
They support our university, our athletic department.
They've told us that they could have a fleet of volunteers there to help this year if we needed.
I see them at a lot of our Hispanic community events that we do.
I can't think of another bank in the city that has such a big community presence as Har-Ber.
Har-Ber Bank. Our customers say it best.
Welcome back to Wildcat Stadium. Just around a minute left until we kick things off here in the second half. And Donald, Har-Ber going to start on defense, but it's the offense that we need to see improve.
Yeah, we really got to get a 3 and out. We got to get the ball back. We got to put some points on the board, and we got to create some distance between the scores here, or we're going to have a game just like we did last year, where it's going to come down to the very end of the whoever has the ball and the time runs out, who's going to win the ball game.
And you can almost expect that, though, between these two ball clubs, that it's going to come down to the wire. And we were talking about at halftime, just the fact that the defense still hasn't given up any points. It's the offense who gave up the touchdown. You almost feel like you're playing Alabama or something where you can't let them get defensive scores.
Right. Yeah, Har-Ber's defense is, listen, they've been lights out the whole year. They've been fantastic. They're doing a great job. They play aggressive. They leave it all out on the field. You can't ask any more out of a defense than the Wildcats have provided this year. We just need the offense to quit making penalties, quit shooting themselves in the foot, settle down, and just do what they do.
Donald, we need you in the locker room.
That's my spill right there. That's all I got.
That's all you got?
That's it.
So like I said, Fayetteville going to receive the football. Looks like they're going to have Terrence Rock back as well as Andrew Ellis. That's the brother of Arkansas linebacker Brooks Ellis.
The Bulldogs obviously deep with athletic ability, that's for sure.
Jesus Izumba, we're getting to see him kick it for the first time tonight. He gets into this one. It's going to be into the end zone. That'll be a touchback. And Zazumba, who's probably been cold all night, not having to kick much, comes out and boots one to start the half.
Yeah, it's not a bad kick, not a bad way to start a kickoff for the second half. Start the Bulldogs at the 20-yard line and just keep them pinned back so we can get good field position and execute some plays.
When we saw Taylor Powell try to throw it late in the game, he had some guys open. He made a big pass down the seam, but Fayetteville coughed it up. You might see them really try to attack the middle of the field here.
Yeah, ever since Hinton fumbled the football, he hasn't been back in the game, so they're going to start throwing the ball a little bit more.
They're going to hand it off. First play, actually, no. Powell keeps it, has a man all the way down to the 42-yard line. That was a nice fake by Powell. I thought he'd handed it off.
Yeah, he basically had that ball in his hands, and so like he's going to pull up and throw it, or he's going to option, but he didn't have an option back there, so he could have tucked it and ran, but he did throw. It's a great pass and paid off for a first down and ball almost to midfield.
Har-Ber having a tough time getting lined up. Pounder's late getting to his man. As the Wildcats jumped, you think if Fayetteville would have flinched, they would have gotten Har-Ber in the neutral zone.
Yeah.
Trips to the right, one receiver to the left. This time, Powell going to keep it once again, rolls out to his left and throws it wide of his man. Had Cody Gray wide open, who had just set down over here in the flat.
Yeah, the pass to the top of the screen was just a little bit off. He was wide open in the flat.
It was the same play, just to the other side.
Yeah.
Second and 10. This time they do hand it off. This one's out to Terrence Rock. He's tackled right at the 45-yard line. They're actually going to give him the 46. Gain of 3, and that'll bring up 3rd and 7. And this is where Har-Ber's defense likes to pin their ears back and come after the quarterback.
Yeah, they do. You know, Hill on that play made a good job of coming out, making the tackle. You just need a little bit more penetration with the defensive line.
This time the ball snapped over the head of Powell. He's going to have to fall on it all the way back to around the 24, but we got a flag on the play, and we'll have to see who it's on. Fayetteville's trotting that punt team out there, but I don't know what the call would be, Donald. Do you have an idea? We're about to find out.
I'm sure it's against Har-Ber.
So offsides on Har-Ber.
Offsides 10 minutes later.
Yeah, good Lord, the play was over.
That's ridiculous.
So they're actually going to move them behind the line of scrimmage? Is it on Har-Ber or is it on Fayetteville?
Well, they moved the ball back up to the 40.
But they're saying, oh, sideline interference. So, yeah, it wasn't offsides. He put his hands behind his back, not on his hips. Looked weird. But I was thinking, how can you call that after the play? So Fayetteville is going to punt this one away. And this one's got great hang time. Eckwood calling for a fair catch at the 27. And that'll honestly be some of Har-Ber's best starting field position of the game.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about to see what Coach Wood's drawn up during halftime here. And, they got good field position. They got a fresh set of legs. Har-Ber needs to strike now, or it's going to be a long road at the end of the game.
Har-Ber starting with 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Peyton Kofer in the pistol. Kofer was looking for a quick pass, but I believe they're going to blow it dead and say false start on Har-Ber. That's exactly what happens. Har-Ber was penalized a lot in the first half and starting it off.
Second half the same way.
Yeah, second half same way, getting negative yardage. So 1st and 15. Quick pass out to Duendara, caught at the 25. He gets out to the 30. That'll pick up the penalty yardage, and it'll just be like a little short gain on 1st down.
Yeah, I've been excited to see Duendara come back. He's healthy 100%. He is a workhorse, and so he's going to take a little bit of pressure off of Trey Smith, doing all the work downfield. So
these corners, the corners are given a lot of cushion. Yeah. Once again, quick pass out to the flat. That one almost picked off, but it's actually caught by Trey Smith, and that would have been a pick 6 for Ellis.
Ellis just in the right spot. He plays underneath. He broke on the ball, and he just didn't put his hands on it quick enough.
That would have been a backbreaker for Har-Ber. You can see Kofer's trying to get it out of his hands quickly. The Wildcats need a 1st down in the worst way here on their first drive of the second half. Kofer looking to get it out of his hands quickly, throws it over the middle and overthrows his man. Was looking out there for Grant Ferguson. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Not the way to start the second half for the Wildcats. We've got to get downfield. We've got to string some plays together, get some yards, get some 1st downs, and move the sticks instead of 3 and out.
So Grant Allen going to be back to punt here for the Wildcats. One of the backup quarterbacks gets this one away. This is a nice punt. Going to bounce at the 22 and gets a Har-Ber roll all the way down to the 11-yard line. Nice job there by the punter, and that really can give your team some momentum.
Yeah, it can, and it also takes pressure off the defense. If the defense is having to start at the 50-yard line, that adds a lot of pressure to the defense to perform. This, I don't want to say gives them some breathing room, but it kind of does. They can play a different part of the playbook, react quicker, react different, and they don't have to be forced into bad positions.
Har-Ber would love to get a turnover with Fayetteville deep in their own territory. They're going to hand it off up the middle. Terrence Rock, a little bit of room across the 10, but only a gain of about 1 or 2. They'll bring up 2nd and long. And you're right, we have not seen Hinton since that drive, and I'm kind of surprised. The big back had some success.
Yeah, he was clipping off 5, 6, 7 yards on a run, but if your coach doesn't have confidence in you, then you got to give it to somebody else.
Two receivers to each side of Powell. He's going to hand it off once again to Rock. This time a little more room across the 15 and down to the 18. 18 or 19, actually. I think they're going to give him the 19, and that'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Har-Ber's defense is, they're not a stranger to having pressure put on them. So they're going to react fine. It's just getting the ball quicker into the Har-Ber Wildcat offense's hands so they can score some points.
Third and 2. Powell, quick pass out to the flat. Pounder's trying to get out there and make a play. Was able to fight off his blocker as we've got a flag. And I think they're going to get Brighton Cook again for a little extracurriculars, and he's got to cut that out.
Yeah. It's hard enough keeping them from getting first downs, but then giving them penalties on top of that, it's just, there's no benefit to that. There's no reason to be doing it.
And it's a good way to find yourself on the bench as well. I mean, it's simple to just do your job between the whistles and then go back to the huddle.
Yeah, if you can't convey your frustration between the whistles, you don't need to be on the field.
So 1st and 10 for Fayetteville at the 36. They're going to hand it off to Hinton. First carry we've seen from him, and he hit a wall, also known as Alejandro Ramirez, at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Ramirez doing a great job getting penetration, shoving the center back into the play so the play can't develop, and it forces, and that was Hinton there, it forces Hinton to do something different other than he was described there in the huddle.
Two receivers to the left, and a tight end and one receiver to the right, as Powell looks like he's changing the play at the line of scrimmage. He's going to have to call a timeout as the play clock had almost gotten down to 0. We'll take a timeout with them with 8:25 left to go here in the third quarter. It's 7-0 Bulldogs. You're watching the Har-Ber Wildcat Sports Network.
During the Great Depression, nothing came easy. But with just 5 cents, an old truck, and a load of hay, John Tyson and his family found a way to deliver quality chicken to other hardworking people. Today, Tyson continues to find new ways to help put a chicken in every pot. Because people deserve farm-raised chicken of the highest quality. At Tyson, we remain committed to this simple promise: to always keep it real, to always keep it Tyson.
$8:25 left to go here in the third quarter. We've got a 2nd and 10. And Donald, you motioned to me, you thought Fayetteville might be trying to go deep here.
Yeah, I'm expecting them to try to strike and build up some more momentum here.
Bring a man in motion. Har-Ber going to bring a blitz. And this one is knocked down at the line of scrimmage. That was Nasalai. He was about an inch away from ending Taylor Powell's life there.
Nasalai can do that too. Like, you just don't want to get hit by him. And you don't want to get hit by him more than once. And Bentonville West can attest to that.
I wish there was a way we could bring up the hit he had against Bentonville West last week.
Yeah.
That kid is a sophomore, and he's going to have nightmares about that until he's 45.
He's still answering the doorbell.
Yeah. 3rd and 10. Powell looking to pass, has time, has a man at the 49 across the 50. That'll be a first down for the Bulldogs. That was Cody Gray who made the catch.
And Gray, Fayetteville doing a good job of splitting the coverages and just sitting down and waiting for, and Powell's talented enough, he can get the ball in there quick enough before the coverage can recover. And they're getting off some good pass plays.
First and 10 with 8 minutes to play. Takes it to his right. Now he's going to throw it out to his man, number 21, who's got a lot of room down the sidelines. That was Harry Shipley, who was able to pick up the first down and get all the way to the Wildcat 27. Now it looks like TJ Eckwood's limping off the field here. That's not a guy Har-Ber needs hurt.
No, it isn't. He did that on 1 foot faster than I would do it on 2.
Har-Ber bringing in some new personnel on the defensive line as Fayetteville brings in Hinton again, and they might be looking to pound it here, but this would also be a good opportunity for a little play action.
Yeah, it's not out of the realm of plays here for them just to give it to Hinton and let him kill some clock.
Powell faking it to Hinton. We do have a whistle blown, but I believe false start on Fayetteville. Seems like the first one we've seen all game. Yeah.
Hinton's going out now. .7:48, third quarter.
Fayetteville bringing a man in motion, going to fake the jet sweep, throw it out in the flat as again Har-Ber brought some pressure and able to knock Taylor Powell down for just only the second time tonight, I believe.
Yeah, that's one of the few times that Har-Ber's done a good job of getting pressure and hitting Powell. It's not enough just to get pressure. I mean, yeah, that is effective, but you got to hit him every single time you get back there, because now when he comes to the line of scrimmage and he's going to throw a pass, that's what he's thinking about. He's not thinking about making completions. He's thinking about not getting hurt.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right for Powell. A little draw action there, hands off to Terrence Rock, who's across the 20 and close to the first down marker. I believe he's just about a yard shy, but I like that play call there from the Purple Dogs.
Yeah, Hinton back in the game, Rock out for the play. Rock does a good job. Once he gets across the line of scrimmage, like I said, he's going to be hard to tackle. He gets it almost down for a first down.
Har-Ber bringing in the big personnel. Got Damon Nelson and Alejandro Ramirez in the box. They're going to hand it off quickly to Hinton, and he is stuffed once again. Actually lost a couple yards, and that'll bring up 4th and 2. Well, they bring those 2 big men up the middle.
Yeah, they're doing a good job of playing to Hinton, basically. When he comes in the ball game and it's short yardage, they bring the big package in. They've done a good job of that so far of shutting that down.
You have to think they're going play action here. And that man in motion. They're going to fake the handoff. Now Taylor Powell's in a little bit of trouble, but finds his man at the 10. He's down to the 5. And Har-Ber trying to pull the football away, but they're not able to get it away. That was number 2, Brennan Lewis.
Powell doing a good job throwing off balance off his heels there, and he had a man wide open. It wasn't a strong pass. It was just kind of a backyard throw.
First and goal from the 5. Little pitch outside to Hinton. He's got some room around the edge, and he is going to walk into the end zone for a touchdown for the Purple Dogs.
Not the start to the second half here that Har-Ber's needing. There was no seal on the end. Once Hinton gets going, he's a big guy. Once he gets going, he's going to be hard to stop, and he's obviously quick enough to get around the corner.
Fayetteville on for the extra point attempt. It's on the way, and it is good. Almost blocked. And with 6:09 left to play, Har-Ber finds itself down 2 scores. First time since Jinx they found themselves down by 2 scores, but you don't feel like it's insurmountable. If they can get it going offensively, then they'll be all right.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Offense has to get going. You know, they have to quit making penalties. They have to quit shooting themselves in the foot. You know, it's not that Fayetteville's beating them. I feel like it's Har-Ber beating themselves and making just mistakes that they don't need to be making and are hurting themselves.
Har-Ber back to receive the kick. So far, we haven't seen Fayetteville do anything but a squib kick because they don't want that starburst return Har-Ber's shown all year.
No, they don't. It's hard to cover. You know, and the squib kick's been effective, so why change it?
Back deep for the Wildcats. Number 1, Trey Smith. Number 20, Matt Thomas. And number 34, Connor Sykes.
So Sykes, Smith, and Thomas back deep. No TJ Eckwood, who came out with an injury, as once again we see that little low line drive. And Brother's going to keep it across the 20. He gets out across the 30, and once again Har-Ber with decent field position starting off. They just need something positive.
No, they really do. You know, they got to settle down. They just got to play the ball game.
And we might see Hinton here, their quarterback. Or not, Hennington. Yeah, we're going to see Aaron Hennington come in.
I saw him warming up here on the sideline last possession.
So Hennington hands it off. First play to Connor Sykes. Sykes breaks a tackle across the 35, gets out to the 40. That's his best run since the first play of the game. Gain of 9 brings up a 2nd and 1.
9-yard gain on the play brings up 2nd and 1.
Hennington hands it off once again to Sykes. Sykes got the first down. Pickup of 2 to the 42. Maybe this will get Har-Ber's offense moving a little bit, a personnel change. As now Sykes going to trot off the field.
Hennington, a fantastic thrower, and so defense, you know, Fayetteville knows this, and so the respect in a pass play makes the run play more effective.
Hennington going to go quick out to Duandara, catches it at the 50, sidesteps a man, gets out of bounds at the 49. Another pickup of 9 on first down, and I like the way Har-Ber's moving the football.
Yeah, I think that's just, you know, Fayetteville having to respect the pass play because Hennington is he's a great thrower.
Got a flag on the play. I think they're going to get a false start on Har-Ber. They have struggled with that tonight.
Yeah, they're just killing them with penalties.
So that'll back it all the way up to a 2nd and 6.
Following the penalty, Wildcats. 2nd and 6 from their own 46.
Two receivers to the right, one to the left of Hennington. He gets the snap, going to hand it off around the left side. He got a little room around the edge as the back gets across the 50, now picks up the first down all the way to the 46-yard line of Fayetteville.
J.C. Messina run for the first time tonight.
Yeah, nice run by Messina. Now we're going to see Logan Collins come in. Har-Ber just needs to get one of those long drives to wear this Fayetteville defense out. And off to Collins. He bursts through the hole up the middle. Gain of 2.
Logan Collins, the ball carrier.
That interior of the Fayetteville defensive line is playing a good ball game. They're slanting both of their tackles.
Yeah, they're filling the gaps.
Second and 8. Play action pass. Hennington rolling out of the pocket. Doesn't have a man, and he's just going to go down at the 49. Everyone was covered up on that play.
Yep. Scrambling around, and he wasn't able to pull it up and run. He's slipping. He goes down. That's just great. That was great defensive coverage by the Bulldogs. Forcing Hennington out to possibly run the ball. There's 3:50 on the clock.
Har-Ber needs a big completion here on third down. Fayetteville going to bring a little bit of pressure. Hennington rolls out. He's got a man. Catch at the 39. That's Grant Ferguson. Will be short of the first down by about 2 yards, and if you're Har-Ber, you got to go for it.
Yeah, you really do. You got a great spot. It's 4th and 2. This is some of the better field position they've had all night.
This is a big play in the ball game here in the third quarter. Hennington going to do the little shovel pass to Kunkel, who's got the first down and more. Kunkel breaks a tackle at the 35. And that's enough for the first down. That's a dangerous play, though. I thought he was going to be stopped in the backfield.
Yeah, I almost swallowed my pen when I saw him shuttle pass it.
First and 10, Wildcats. The line of scrimmage to Bulldog 36.
Logan Collins trotting out late. He comes in late, and they're just going to hand him the football as he's brought down after a short gain to the 35. Collins definitely doesn't look full speed.
No, he really doesn't. He doesn't. We're used to at the beginning of the season where you break off 15, 20 yards. And even after initial contact, he'd get 3 or 4.
Yeah. Second and 9, 2:22 left to play here in the third quarter. Hennington gets the snap, looking to throw. Fayetteville bringing the pressure, and he is brought down deep in the backfield, all the way back to the 45.
Yeah, you just can't. You got to have more protection than that. You have to let the play develop that you call, and if you're scrambling for your life, then the play doesn't develop, and you can't make the passes.
So 3rd and 18, not where Har-Ber is most successful.
No, they're not. And they got to have it. Got a minute 44, 43 on the clock for the third quarter.
Hennington looking to pass. Gonna throw this towards the sideline. It's caught at the 25. That'll be enough for the first down. What a throw to Grant Ferguson from Aaron Hennington.
Yeah, he got enough protection. The play developed. He got enough time and get downfield. Let's check out the replay here.
Looking to pass. Gonna throw this towards the sideline. It's caught at the 25. That'll be enough for the first down. What a throw to Grant Ferguson from Aaron Hennington. Moving quickly, going to hand it off to Collins up the middle, and he's got a hole. Collins across the 25, and he loses the football, and Fayetteville's got it. Fayetteville's got it in the clear. The man's at the 30. Har-Ber defender is going to try to run him down. Trey Smith going to bring him down at the 2-yard line. Collins just looked like he somehow just lost the football.
Yeah, one of them held him up. They stripped the football out of his hands, and it was a foot race.
Fayetteville sideline excited. Wouldn't be surprised to see Hinton here come in on the goal line.
Yeah, Hinton obviously the big back to get the ball. The one that scored last time. There he is.
That was the best hole Collins had to run through all evening. Can Har-Ber get a goal line stand? Hand off to Hinton up the middle. And he's going, the play's whistle dead. He got into the end zone. Offsides on Har-Ber, though.
Offsides against the Wildcats.
Yeah, I don't have the stats for the penalties.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I actually want to know.
No. I feel like Fayetteville's been penalized about twice, maybe 2-3 times. Har-Ber's got to be penalized at least 10 times.
It's got to be way more than 10 times.
12 penalties.
That was 20%.
First and goal for the Purple Dogs. Once again, we've got flags on the play. This time it's a delay of game. So instead of half the distance, they have to go back 5 yards. So Har-Ber's penalty was only half the distance. So they actually get the win out of that situation.
Yeah, still first down and 6 to go. It's a big stand with your back against the wall for the Wildcats.
Interesting formation as they're going to pitch it out to Terrence Rock, and he's got no room. Har-Ber going to tackle him out at around the 8 for a loss of 2.
Ocelot leading the charge there, doing a great job stretching it out to the sideline, using the sideline as that 12th player, and tackling Fayetteville for a loss.
Over sideline trying to get the crowd in the football game. This is a huge possession in the red zone. Trips to his left. And receiver to the right. Powell going to hand it off to Rock. No, he's going to keep it around the left side. He's got a lane to the end zone, and he is in. Touchdown, Fayetteville. Taylor Powell around the right end.
Yeah, Fayetteville doing a good job of stretching out the defense, and then Powell just, he's athletic enough, he can make plays like that and get in the end zone for that touchdown.
Extra points on its way. It is good, and with 28 seconds left to go in the third quarter, the score is Fayetteville 21, Har-Ber nothing. We'll take a quick commercial break and be right back. You're watching the Har-Ber Wildcat Sports Network.
Presented by Everett Chevrolet.
Hi, I'm Susie Everett with Everett Chevrolet. You've heard me say we have a better way to buy your new Chevy. If you've not been here to find out what that means, I want to invite you to come see us. You'll love the way we do business. And you can shop our great selection of the North American Truck of the Year, the Chevy Silverado, with the best V8 fuel economy of any full-size truck. Family owned, customer friendly, Everett Chevrolet in Springdale, I-49 at Elm Springs Road.
.28 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Har-Ber finding themselves down by 3 scores. They got to get something going here.
No, they really do. They got to quit making penalties. They got to quit shooting themselves in the foot and just do their job.
Another pooch kick fielded at the 35. Might be wise for him just to go down there as he's going to be gang tackled by the Fayetteville coverage. The score at halftime between Springdale and Van Buren was 22-10 Bulldogs. And that was 30 minutes ago, so I would figure they're in the third quarter. There hasn't been any updates since then.
Wildcats take over first and 10. The ball just outside their own 35-yard line.
So Hennington going to trot the offense back onto the field. Move doing Dara in motion. Quick pass out to Trey Smith. Caught at the 40. He's going to get out of bounds at around the 42, and that's a nice gain on first down.
Yeah, just a quick pass there. Trey Smith, athletic enough to fight for a few extra yards after he catches it. That's going to give him a great second down position between the sticks.
Gain of 5, second and 5, Wildcats.
Second and 5 for Har-Ber. Move doing Dara into the backfield. They're going to hand it off to him, and he is going to get maybe a yard. Har-Ber's just had a tough time moving that D line of Fayetteville.
Yeah, Fayetteville's defensive line, even though they They're big. They're also very physical and very quick and athletic.
Into the third quarter here at Har-Ber Wildcat Stadium. Har-Ber's going to have to make some moves in the fourth if they want to get back in this football game. It's 21-0 Purple Dogs. We'll be back right after this.
For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. No, you gotta own it. You gotta be like, for WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. No, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. Okay, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. Okay, better. Yeah, but don't you think I should add like some... Is she gonna be okay? Yeah, they always do this. Okay, so you said, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. Yeah, just no. But don't you think that I should add something like, that's the way the cookie crumbles, or, ooh, okay, good one. I could say something like, no, just one more time. Okay. For WCSN, I'm Ashlyn Grace Brothers. Much.
To start the fourth quarter here, with the Wildcats down 21-0, and Donald, you would figure that this is a must-score drive.
No, without a doubt. The Wildcats have got to put it together here. They got 3 touchdowns to make up. 4 for the win.
Been doing Dara in motion. Hamilton going to hand it off to him once again, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
The handoff to Dalton Dara, the tackle by...
Kind of surprised they ran that play on 3rd and 5.
I really am too.
4th and 2.
Because now they're going to go for it on their own side of the field.
Thinking the shuttle pass. Conkle again.
Could be. Hamilton looking to throw quickly. He's got a man for the first down. That's Grant Ferguson, as Fayetteville was trying to rip the football away from him. Good job to secure that ball.
Yeah. No, get the first down, shut it down. Let's regroup, get the ball down into the end zone for a touchdown.
Seems like the quick passing game has been successful for Har-Ber. You'd like to see them just continue to get it out of the quarterback's hands quickly.
Yeah, Hamilton doing a great job throwing it.
Hamilton with the snap, looking to throw. Now he's going to have to tuck it and try to get upfield. Hennington to the 50, and he's spun down at the 49. Able to get at least something positive out of that.
They did a good job of creating something out of nothing. Even though it is a yard, it's a yard in the right direction.
Gain of 1 on the play brings up 2nd and 9. Wildcats.
2nd and 9 for Har-Ber now.
At the 49.
Hamilton with the snap. Looking to set up the screen to Kunkel. Kunkel's caught it, but he is brought down for a loss of about 4 yards.
Yeah, that play took a little bit too long to develop. Fayetteville got a lot of penetration and enough time for the linebackers to come up and shut down the screen pass. Kunkel got a little irritated there and zoomed the ball off the sideline.
We haven't seen Connor Sykes in a long time. I don't even see him on the sidelines. He didn't come off the field like he was injured badly, but it must be something bad enough to keep him off the field, as Hennington's going to drop back to throw, facing some pressure. He steps up and tucks it. Hennington across the 50 and brought down at around the 40. See what they give him. If they give him the 45 or the 46. I think they're going to give him the straight up 45. But once again, Har-Ber's got to go for it. 4th and 5 on the Purple Dog 45.
Yeah, not great. Not a great position to be in for the Wildcats, especially the struggles they've had tonight. But Hennington doing a good job of connecting on the pass plays.
Hennington gets the snap. Looking towards the sidelines, and that is well overthrown to Trey Smith, but he had Dara wide open running down the seam.
Yeah, Dara wide open. Ferguson was open on that same pass play, sat down right there in the flat. He was ready to go. There wasn't anybody within 5 yards of him.
So Fayetteville going to take the football at the 45, and if they get a score here, you would think that would just about put the nail in the coffin.
Well, it is definitely a lot of points to make up, especially after the first 3 quarters that we've had.
Yeah. We're going to hand it off around the right side. Terrence Rock going to lose a couple on first down. That Har-Ber defense continuing to play hard. We've got an official's timeout for an injured player, and Fayetteville trainer's going to go out and look at him, but I think it's just a cramp just by the way they're treating it immediately. That's the first cramp we've seen. You would figure some of those defenders for Fayetteville would be feeling it after a while, because even though Har-Ber hasn't scored, they've kept them on the field quite a bit.
Right. Yeah, and the Har-Ber Wildcat defense as well. They've been on the field the whole night.
Cool. While they get the big man stretched out there around midfield, we'll take a quick break. Be back after this. You're watching the Har-Ber Wildcat Sports Network.
Catering for WCSN provided by Domino's.
Zaxby's food has always brought people together. Catering to the big moments, the little wins, the long talks, and the quick getaways. Because food this inviting is bound to add a lot of flavor to your life.
Introducing the Zax Pack. Serve with chicken fingers, sides, Texas toast, and iced tea. Pick one up for dinner or your next event. Friends, family, flavor. Zaxby's, indescribably good.
$8:56 left to go here in the fourth quarter. The injured player was Spencer Stone, 6'5", 290-pound offensive lineman. That's a big guy.
That is a big guy.
Second and long for the Bulldogs. Powell looking to his left, going to throw it short, and this one's knocked away by the sophomore Brock Pounders.
Pounders doing a great job of covering tight and getting his hand in there to break up the pass. That's just a textbook defensive move right there.
We're bringing out Peyton Kofer, as well as Casey Sauerbrower here on this play. Looks like Powell going to change the play at the line of scrimmage. This is a must stop for Har-Ber, and Fayetteville's going to have to burn a timeout. While the Purple Dogs talk it over on the sidelines, we'll take a timeout as well. 8:37 left to go here in the fourth quarter. It's 21-0 Fayetteville.
Welcome home to Lindsay Living. From value-packed basic apartments with appliances and washers and dryers to resort-style apartment living on golf courses with fabulous amenities. You'll love where you live and play. Visit lindsaymanagement.com to apply online and see photos, rates, and floor plans for all locations we manage throughout Arkansas and in surrounding states.
$8:37 left to go here in the fourth quarter. The Purple Dogs have 12 yards to pick up a first down. Har-Ber needs a stop.
Yeah, Har-Ber needs the football as long as possible. There's as much opportunity here for we can get for the last part of the fourth quarter.
Har-Ber is going to bring the blitz. Noah Hayward coming on the backside, and Powell's able to find his man at the 41. It's a first down for Fayetteville, and one that the Wildcats couldn't give up. That's Barrett Bannister. That's a guy we haven't really seen hurt the Wildcats so far tonight.
8:21 left to go in the ball game.
Action pass. Powell was looking towards the end zone but didn't have a man. Now he's just going to chunk it up towards the sidelines as this one is incomplete.
The pass incomplete.
You know, Fayetteville's offensive line has done a very good job of keeping Har-Ber's very athletic and strong defensive line out of the backfield.
Oh, yeah.
So that allows the pass patterns to develop, the plays to develop, and it gives him opportunities to, you know, to pick it apart. And he's athletic enough to do that.
I'm just going to hand it off to Hinton up the middle. He's just going to fall forward for about 4 yards. It seems like all he has to do is get to the line of scrimmage and fall down.
He's a big guy. He's a handful to tackle.
He won't be playing running back at the next level. But in his second life, I believe he's a bowling ball.
7:42 on the clock. Fourth quarter. Har-Ber defense need to make a stand.
7:32 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Once again, a third down. Powell going to lob this one up deep, and it is caught at the 5-yard line. What a play by the man in the slot. He had Eckwood hanging all over him.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have covered any tighter. You're in a great position. You're on the inside, you know, between the receiver and the ball. You just had to turn around and play the ball, and he didn't do that.
I thought no way he's catching that ball. I was just hoping they didn't throw pass interference on Eckwood. First and 5. Powell looking towards the end zone now. He's just going to have to throw this one away. Luckily for the white fence, though, it kept it.
Yeah, he almost completed it.
The white fence able to keep it inside.
Brings him second and goal at the 5.
You know, Powell does not take sacks. That's one thing that's impressive about him. And he's played a ton of games in a Fayetteville uniform. So when he feels the pressure, he's able to get it away. Bringing a man on a jet sweep. Har-Ber just stretches that one out towards the sidelines.
The handoff to number 1, Cody.
That's Hill on the tackle, Brothers stretching out to the sideline. This brings up 3rd and 5. 3rd and goal from the 5.
Yeah.
No gain on the
Fayetteville's
play.
done a good job of converting on 3rd down on this drive.
3rd and goal at the 5.
All going to roll out to the right, looking towards the end zone, and this one is, are they going to say he caught it? They're going to say he caught it. Bannister tipped it.
Bobbled it.
I wish we had I wonder if we're going to have a replay of it. I'll look at Travis. He says no replay. See, because I lost sight of it here as I turned around and looked, so I saw him bobble it.
Bobbled it and then turned around on his back and caught it as he was rotating.
Did it look
over.
like he definitely caught it?
I couldn't tell. He had his back to us and the ball on the other side.
Well, it doesn't matter either way because it's a touchdown and it's 27-0 Fayetteville, and we'll see. It's going to be a false start. Har-Ber's come close to blocking this extra point.
The Bulldogs, 5 yards.
Like inches away the last couple of attempts. Wouldn't be surprised to see them get their hands on one here in a sec. This one is on the way, and it is good. It's 28-0 Fayetteville. They have completely taken the wind out of Har-Ber's sails and are in full control of this ball game.
Yeah, they really have. You know, Har-Ber's, you know, they've kind of dropped the ball, to use a football metaphor here, with the penalties. Like, there's just been too many penalties.
And they just threw another penalty on a Har-Ber player. I would believe it would be for mouthing off to a ref.
I didn't see what number that was.
I think it was Noah Hayward.
I don't know. Brighton Cook, possibly. 9. Is that who it was?
No, I think it was Noah Hayward. He reacted immediately when he threw the flag, like he knew that he had done something he shouldn't have. Now, that doesn't mean necessarily that it was on him, but he was one of the guys around the referee at the time. And now this little pooch kick that they've been doing would actually be pretty useful here in this situation, but I believe they're just going to kick this one out of the back of the end zone.
The kickoff beyond the end zone for a touchback. Wildcats will take over first and 10.
See who Har-Ber trots out there at quarterback. I would imagine it would still be Hennington.
Yeah, Hennington has done a great job of completing passes. I mean, he missed a couple of them, but I mean, still, by the most part, they've done a good job of completing the short passes underneath the coverage. It might be too little too late.
Hennington looking to throw. Gets it out of his hands quickly over on the right side to Ferguson. Pickup of about 6 yards on first down. Ferguson's actually had a pretty decent night.
Yeah, just small chunks. Just second down, and we got 4.5 yards to go. Small chunks. You tie those things together so we can get downfield and take some stress off.
Something has happened in the stands as you've got the crowd standing up here. I'm looking towards the sidelines, but I can't tell what happened.
I can't see either. I see Ramirez walking over to the field house.
Quick pass to the flat. This one caught by Trey Smith. Trey Smith across the 35 gets the first down.
The pass complete to number 1, Trey Smith.
Yeah, Trey Smith just going up there and getting it. Like he jumped up, got the ball, great vertical, pulls it down, and gets a first down.
The Wildcat 38-yard line.
One quick pass out to the right to Grant Ferguson. He's been the man so far tonight.
The pass complete to number 81, Grant Ferguson.
Out to the 47.
9-yard gain on the play brings up second down. The ball at the 47-yard line.
And Har-Ber going to do the little quick shuffle pass to Kunkel, and he's got a ton of room across the 40 down to the 39.
Kunkel did a great job at just hitting the gas pedal. Shooting downfield, found the seam, and just took advantage of it.
First down, Wildcats.
First and 10 from the 39.
5:40 on the clock.
Hennington, a throw out to Ferguson once again, a little out route. All the way down to the 23-yard line.
Complete to number 81, Grant Ferguson. Good tackle by Blake Coulter.
5:30 left to play. Har-Ber trying to put some points on the board.
First down, Wildcats at the 22.
This is one of their better possessions. They've done a great job of just taking big chunks off, getting downfield.
He was looking for that shuffle pass again. This time Fayetteville had it sniffed out. They're seeing those linebackers drop back into coverage and trying to exploit that, but that time the defensive tackle was able to get in position to stop the shuffle pass.
5-yard loss on the play brings up second and 15 at the 27-yard line.
Under 5 minutes to go left in the ball game. Hennington, quick pass out to Trey Smith. He caught it at the 25, but that's all he's going to get. If it was a little more accurate, he would have probably had room to get up the field.
Yeah, the defense did a good job of shutting that down because they converge quickly. But Trey Smith, we've said it before, he's like trying to catch a bar of soap in the shower. He just wasn't able to make anything happen on that play.
Pennington looking to throw on third down, going to lob it up towards the end zone and just overthrows Grant Ferguson. The middle of the field has been open.
The pass intended from number 81, Grant Ferguson, falls incomplete. Brings up fourth down for the Wildcats.
Two receivers to each side. 4th and 13. Har-Ber needs the first down. Looking across the middle again and just throws it wide of his target, and Fayetteville going to take over on downs.
That's a turnover on downs with 4:05 on the clock, 28-0 the Bulldogs. And the Wildcats they've got to keep possession of the ball.
With 4:05 left to play, Fayetteville just going to be able to run the clock out. Handed off to the outside. Running back's got a little bit of room, but is met out there by Danny Douglas.
Yeah, it's going to have a late hit.
The ball carrier, number 17, Nate Nolan. There is a flag on the play.
That was a justified flag. They blew the whistle. He's on the sideline, and he just shoves him to the fence. You just can't have those kind of plays.
Unsportsmanlike conduct on Har-Ber. So is that 4th unsportsmanlike conduct of the game?
4 unsportsmanlike conducts so far. Any coach will tell you that's just 4 too many.
Bulldogs first and 10 on their own 44-yard line.
Handed off to a man on a jet sweep. We got a penalty flag on the play. Taylor Powell's trying to plead his case to the ref, but they're going to call a holding on the Purple Dogs. And that'll bring it back 10 yards. So I'll bring up first and a long ways.
It's a commuter flight.
25 yards, I believe. 24 yards. Now we've got another whistle on the play, and it'll be 1st and 29.
False start against the Bulldogs.
So 1st and 29. With the clock running at 3:22. Draw play. Terrence Rock looking for some room, breaks a tackle initially, but is brought down at the 20-yard line. For a loss. You would think that would be an insurmountable first down marker, but Powell's got the arm.
Yeah, no, he's also got the ability, the skill set. I mean, he can do it. Obviously, they've gotten big yards before, but I mean, they don't even need to get big yards. It's 2:39 on the clock.
Draw play up the middle. This time Rock breaks a couple tackles, and he's got some blockers out in front. Rock all the way to the 40, lowers his shoulder at the 50, and he's out of bounds, about 4 yards short of the first down.
Draw play for 20 yards.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go for it as well. 4th and 5. Oh, third down. Yeah, all the penalties you kind of get mixed up on.
Confusing.
Yeah, all the plays that have been run. And off around the right side. Rock going to cut it upfield, pick up the first down. He's tackled there. And it's a big first down for Fayetteville, as now they can just let it roll. So Oliver Nasseli is going to come back onto the field.
Bulldogs at the Wildcat 44-yard line, 1st and 10.
2 minutes left to play in the ball game. Handoff up the middle. There's the Har-Ber defense, able to bring him down for a gain of about 3, and we get a stoppage of the clock. I believe a man lost his helmet and had to come back off the field.
Yeah. 30-yard gain on the play, brings up 2nd and 7.
Minute and a half to play, and now all you've got to be thinking about is when you might get to play him again. No.
Yeah, no. Obviously, this is the opposite of what happened last year. Har-Ber winning during the regular season and losing at the state championship level. And you can only hope that happens the opposite like it did this year, for this year. We lose during the regular season but win at the state championship level. Har-Ber just has not been Har-Ber Wildcats tonight.
No, penalties, the most penalties they've seen all year, and you didn't have either of your running backs healthy for an entire football game. You had Connor Sykes and Logan Collins both on the bench. At times, Collins had less than 5 carries in the ball game. Hand it off to Hinton, who is hit right at the line of scrimmage for no gain, and I believe that'll be the last play of the football game. For the first time this year, Har-Ber going to be shut out by the Fayetteville Purple Dogs. And don't know if there will be 2 rounds this year to the rivalry, but round 1 undoubtedly goes to Fayetteville.
No, Fayetteville, obviously, they just outplayed the Wildcats. They showed up, they were prepared. They didn't let the intensity of the game, the excitement of the game, cause some penalties. And Har-Ber helped Fayetteville with excessive penalties.
Yeah, and it really came down to the fact that they weren't able to run the football as well. When Har-Ber can't run the football, they struggle at times. They struggled the same way in the first half against Bentonville a couple weeks ago, and then Peyton Kofer really got it going running in the second half. Obviously, that didn't happen this evening, and Fayetteville with a big win. Now, if Har-Ber wins out, then they might share they'd have to share the conference title.
Yeah, and that's based on the who the Wildcats have and who Fayetteville has for the the last 2 games of the conference. That's a very good possibility.
So Har-Ber band getting ready to play the alma mater here at Wildcat Stadium. This will be the 2nd loss for the Wildcats this year, falling to 6-2. But you have to refocus. You go to Van Buren next week, and then you have Rogers Heritage at home. 2 very winnable football games.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is what it is. It's a loss. You learn from it. You get better. and you move on. And at the end of the day, this is just the name of the game is get to the state championship, get to Little Rock. And this is just a setback, but once we get to postseason, that's what really counts. And I'm not trying to make light of a loss, but as long as the Wildcats learn from it and get better and put it behind them, the rest of the season still looks pretty good.
Once again, final score, Fayetteville 28, Har-Ber nothing. For Donald Tucker, I'm Jackson Braswell saying so long from Har-Ber Wildcats Stadium. We'll see you next week.